Hello everyone, welcome to Friday Night Baseball. My name's Andrew Sperling with my partner Pete Wyatt. We are the 10th innings, and tonight we're bringing to you Game 2 of the 3-game series between the Bite and the Perth Heat. Last night the Heat were a little bit too good, but I'll have a little bit more of a chat with my co-commentator about that a little bit later, and that's Craig Watts, and I'm very happy to have Wattsy here with me. I'd just like to quickly thank our sponsors, Duct Air Conditioning, MC Sportswear, Marshall Batteries, the Colts Baseball Academy, and as I said to you last night, my couple of little personal investors, Shane Bennett and Craig Watts, and I'm obviously happy to have my co-sponsor here with me. So Wattsy, last night, what do you got to tell me?
Well, thanks very much for having me on tonight, Spurls. Obviously, it's a little bit different for me being on this side of the fence. I've been involved with the Bite and the Giants for 21 years, and I came to my first game last night, and I watched the game from behind the fence, and it was a little bit different, and saw a few different things that you don't have that emotional involvement in.
Absolutely. I sort of, when I reflect, obviously we had Angus up who spent a bit of time on the, not the playing side, but certainly the coaching side, and you with your playing and then moving into coaching. Yeah, we've been very lucky to have your knowledge and eyes and skills and info to help us tonight.
Yeah, mate, look, I'm really looking forward to this season. I think we've got a good young team. The guys haven't got any, we've got a good balance of professional guys coming back from the US, and some really good young juniors that, got a bit of a taste last night. There was a couple of guys that haven't had an at-bat in the last 3 years of the new ABL, and look, let me tell you, there were some exciting times for the South Australian baseball.
Absolutely, and we've just got the national anthem now, so we will just have a quick break. We'll be back in a moment.
To the big video screen on the right side of the field for a preview presentation of our starting pitcher, Paul Mildred.
So welcome back everyone. I'll go straight into the lineups. Not a huge amount of change from last night. Perth Heat pretty much the same. They've Corey Adamson leading off at centre field, Adam Melker left field, Luke Hughes second base, Carter Bell at shortstop, Josh McGee at third base, Alan D. San Miguel at first base, David Amberson at right field, Elliot Hargraves is DHing, Kevin Clark's catching, and the Anthony Claggett, the man with a little bit of major league experience, debuted 2009 with the magnificent Yankees. Obviously must have something going for him, so it'll be really interesting to see that. For the Bite, same again, couple of minor little changes. Creswell shortstop, Kate Red second base, Melendrez centre field, Justin Howard first base, Matt Smith at third base, Angus Roger at right field, Chris Adamson gets the catching duties tonight, Ben Lodge back at left field, Dennis Christensen in his debut, even though he had a little taste with an at-bat last night. He has his first start as the DH in the 9-hole with our man Paul Mildred pitching. So a couple of little tinkers, as you said before. What are you thinking?
Well, first of all, we need to, give credit to Perth Heat last night. They came out, they swung the bat really well. They've got some real hot guys coming off professional season, so give them credit. They came out and did what they had to do. Obviously, our import came and pitched last night for the first time, and he would have been a little bit nervous pitching in a different country, different climate, against some guys that he doesn't really know. So he came out just trying to throw strikes, and obviously didn't help himself too well. But what Paul needs to do tonight, from an Adelaide point of view, is keep these guys off balance. He needs to throw a little bit more backwards, exactly the same as what Reed Brown did last night. Reed Brown was outstanding. He came into the game in the 4th inning, and he kept the guys off balance, and he did really, really well for 5 innings.
So the first pitch, Mildren, high fastball, should I say. And attempted at a running bunt, but he's nearly slugged it straight back to him and easily put out at first base. Adamson, who had a bit of a mixed evening last night, predominantly just sort of kept rolling over on the ball and giving second base a bit of fielding practice. So I'm sure, man of his talent, he'll be really eager to put some good bat on ball. And we'll see if that can make some changes for him. So Melker did a really good job last night, as Watsy said, especially early when he needed to. He just a couple of great at-bats, exactly the same as that one, just hit the pitch exactly where it was and drove it back up the middle for a base hit.
We watched him last night, and he just stays back really well on off-speed and also the fastball. He showed some power early last night, hitting one out to right centre. But just once again, a really good at-bat, a good approach. He's thinking, he's confident, and he drove the ball right up the middle there. A really good approach by Adam.
So this Perth Heat lineup.
This will be an interesting matchup. Millie's very, very aware of Luke Hughes' ability, and him and Luke are very close friends off the diamond and on the diamond. They have some great tussles, but there's no doubt that Millie will be thinking about his pitching performance last year against Perth, and he's got some points to prove, and he's going to start with Luke Hughes right now.
He started him up with the fastball that caught the inside edge, and then he throws a fastball which grabs the outside edge. So there's some copybook pitching by Mildren to get ahead of the count. And now the challenge with all pitchers is when they're ahead as to how they actually handle this situation. And he throws a change up and gets Hughes swinging over the top of it. Great pitch.
That's a fantastic approach by Paul. He went straight at him for the first 2 pitches, got himself in front, knew what was going on. That was a really good battle, and that should set him up for a really good night tonight, hopefully, for the Adelaide Bite.
Absolutely, and in complete contrast, and not trying to compare the guys, but just the last night that we, took a good at-bat by Melker, but we've got 2 out of the first 3 hitters, and Carter Bell. He pops that one up, and that goes foul over the top of the Perth dugout into Cooper's Hill. Beverages consumed on Cooper's Hill.
Absolutely. But what we've got to remember is that Paul Mildren is Adelaide Bite's number 1 guy. He's been around for a long, long time. He's composed. This is his home crowd. He gets fired up for these games. And ground ball to shortstop at the moment. Creswell over to Capebread. Takes it 3 out, it's not away.
So a good start by the Adelaide Bite as they put the Perth Heat down in 4 hitters. We'll have a short break and we'll be back in a moment. So welcome back everyone, bottom of the first here. Now Anthony Claggett, Watsy and I were just getting a little bit excited and thinking how much we're in real anticipation here of seeing a big league pitcher go about his business. So Craig.
Let's not forget that the guy that pitched for Perth last night, he also played in the big leagues for a number of years. So Virgil played, but I'm pretty excited to see Anthony pitch tonight. It looks like he's got a pretty live fastball.
He starts things up with a fastball inside.
Just a little background on Anthony. Anthony was picked up in 2005 by the Detroit Tigers in the 11th round. Harder throwing right-handed pitcher. He made his major league debut in 2009. He struggled when he went up there, but he was playing with the Yankees and he's got showtime, which a lot of guys don't. Right now he's 3-0 against Creswell, but he's probably a little bit nervous. His first game in Australia and having to show his his teammates how good he can be for them for the year.
Yeah, and one thing that the bite 1 and 2 and that little flare nearly dropped into right field, but was nicely taken there by the second baseman.
Now batting number 6, second baseman Josh Cakebrand.
Luke Hughes, and our lead-offs had a great night last night. They were certainly a couple of our real linchpins, the pivots. Cakebrand picked up a couple of good knocks to left field, drove the ball well. So he's facing the right-hand throwing Claggett.
It's great to see Josh come out last night and get a couple of really nice hits. He struggled early in the last couple of years, but for him to come up in the first game and get a couple of hits in the first game, and you know what, he's just absolutely drilled one out the left field again. Line drive, well taken out there. But it was really, really good to see him come up and get a couple of hits, especially after that first innings spells, where he made a little error which kind of set the ball rolling a bit. He could have gone back into his hole, which he's done previously, and said, you know what, I'm not going to put in tonight. But he came up last night, had some fantastic at-bats and set up some runs for Adelaide.
Yeah, he sure did. It was good to see. So now Melendrez, who built last night, he built to the Holy Grail because his last at-bat produced a home run, but you could see that in previous at-bats that he's good, and he gets inside out a little bit here, and Desam McGall takes that one pretty easily and has a simple put-out to complete the first inning. We'll have a short break and we'll be back with you real soon.
A big thanks to our valued sponsors, the Adelaide Bite. We'd like to thank SA Power Networks, our naming rights sponsor. SA Power.
So welcome back everyone. Talk about duct air conditioning again while I have a quick opportunity. A great South Australian manufacturer, carbon neutral company. Okay, these things are very important as consumers, that we support our South Australian manufacturers. They've got a bit of an offer for you which I'll talk to you about a little bit later. But we resume at the top of the second. No score as yet. Paul Mildren to resume his duties, and Josh McGee. There's a swing and a miss at that one, or a swing and fouled it off. Beautiful day in Adelaide, 26 and just perfect. No sun here at the moment, so it's just sort of just that beautiful twilight where for these guys vision is good. Just perfect playing conditions. Mildred fires a ball inside. So 2 balls, 1 strike the count on McGee. He was good last night, picking up 3 hits, and he's feeling pretty good about himself. And there's another big swing at that one.
It's funny, you know, we've been playing against Perth Heat for over 21 years. We've seen some guys come into come and play, whether they're offshore guys or whether they're local guys, and they just love to swing the bats. And that's one of the things about Perth that gets them premierships, that gets them championships, is that these guys come out swinging. They don't take pitches. They are aggressively selective. So, you know, it's good to see when the imports come over, like McGee and all these guys, that they actually come up and they start swinging as well. They're going to strike out, as McGee just did then. But you know what? When you have a look at their batting averages at the end of the year, their runs produced, that's why they're producing so many runs. They're swinging the bats. Got to be aggressive.
And I would suggest with a hitting coach like Greg Jelks, and you could tell us something about Jelks.
Look, you have a look at Jelksy, you know, he kind of started that whole thing with Perth Heat a long time ago. You know, the guy just came over and just took Australia and Perth by storm. You know, this is a guy that played Major League Baseball for Philadelphia, and he was a showcase in himself. And that ball is hit hard over left field, and the ball is gone. D-San Miguel, wow.
First pitch, fastball, down the shooter, and dispatched.
Look, this is something that Paul's got to work out. These guys are going to be sitting on first pitch fastballs all night long. So he's got to work backwards, as I said from the start. Keep him off balance. Alan D-San Miguel, he's a AAA hitter. In some teams, he could have played in the big leagues, and he possibly could stay in the big leagues. But this guy can flat out hit, and you know, when you throw a guy like him a first pitch fastball, he's going to make you pay, and he certainly made him pay there.
So Perth take the lead in the top of the second here, 1-0. As Mildred welcomes Anderson with a fastball strike. And delivers again, the lefty. Down low for ball 1.
Lily's just got to slow down, show some composure here. He can pitch with a lot of emotion. So, you know, I know that we've worked with him over the years, and it's great having emotion when you pitch, but you've just got to control that. He's going to struggle to find his zone right now.
Got a big heart though, this guy.
Oh, massive.
And you give him a sniff and he gets roped around the corner over third base. Cannons off the wall, back into left field. Ben Lodge recovers and goes straight to third base. And another beautiful piece of hitting by Anderson. Another fastball, just not located well enough.
Once again, you know, you get behind in the count, you're going to come back with that. These guys can hit an 86 and 87 mile-an-hour fastball. Like I said, I've said it 3 times now, Melly needs to just break it up, try and get in front, keep a bit of off-speed. He'll come back, he'll be fine. He's composed. But once again, we talk about how aggressive these guys are with their hitting. And, you know, Jelksy's obviously been working with them all. They've had a good opportunity to hit in the last 2 weeks, playing a couple of series against Team USA. Out at Barbadillo Park, so them having some good game time obviously has helped them come into this series. But
yeah, for sure, and like perhaps a couple of other franchises, we're still welcoming our roster and just a little scratchy, but as Anderson from second base tries to swipe third on the pitch, and perhaps a
little bit
run and hit and run type of play.
A little bit disappointing. We haven't got Choi here playing first base for us. Obviously, that would free up Howard to go out to the outfield where he feels a lot more comfortable. Stephen Welsh just coming back from a big US season, being promoted to AA, so he's having a couple of weeks off. But we'll get settled in a couple of weeks. Our next series after that next week's bye, we'll seem a little bit more settled. Pitchers would have thrown a few more innings, so we should be okay in a couple of weeks. But right now, we're just feeling our way and introducing a few new guys into the club.
Yeah, and there were definitely some promising signs yesterday. Definitely good to keep fighting in the game and score a run or two in late innings. Just to, it shows that you're concentrating and still trying and putting in, which is very important for all.
Good pitch by Millie there, coming inside there. He wasn't afraid, he threw a hard fastball around about 89 mile an hour inside. So he's not afraid to come inside to a left-hander, which a lot of lefties aren't. They want to keep him away. Great pitch. Well caught by Adamson too. The runner on second base, real good getting down there and blocking that. Fantastic.
It's the second K2 to 3 for this combination, the battery, and nothing better than seeing a battery operate when a pitcher knows that he can throw a change-up or a breaking pitch that might dip and hit the dirt, but he's going to be supported by his catcher to block and throw the runner out. It's extremely important for the pitcher's confidence and psyche. So Mildren to Clark, who breaks his bat, which also goes to third base. We saw an amazing one last night.
Yeah, absolutely. Last night, that's one of the scary things about baseball. We saw a ball get flown out to the third baseman and McGee, and he held his ground. And literally, that ball and the bat were coming at the same time, and no one in this park would have actually batted an eyelid if he had bailed out. But he stayed in, man, and he caught that ball and copped the bat on the arm as well. And it was a fantastic effort. Same thing there, though. He stayed in with it. A bit ordinary running by McGee there, coming over from second base. He probably should have made Smithy throw the ball, but just ran into tag. It's for the third out for the inning.
So we'll have a short break. Perth Heat take the lead in this game 2 of 3, 1-0. We'll be back at the bottom of the second real soon. Welcome back, everyone. Friday night baseball here at Cooper Stadium in magnificent Adelaide. Justin Howard strides to the plate to face Anthony Claggett and takes a fastball strike. Quite a tall, upright right-hander Claggett.
If you'd like to find out, get along with the speed pitch. Located behind the big home run net screen in right field.
Justin Howard, playing with the Pittsburgh organisation, has been playing with Stephen Welsh for the last couple of years. He's actually quite good mates with Steph, and Steph came out to watch him last night. He shows some promise, a nice left-handed hitter, quite a solid build. Just getting used to it, everything. He's only been here for a week, so it's going to be real good to see him come out and be another left-handed bat for us.
He's one of those tight-fisted little lefties, you know.
Absolutely.
You see them a lot.
Yeah.
You know, I sort of saw him like Darren Ballard, and you know, just little tight-fisted little hitters that got a lot of punch and a lot of pop. Broke his bat and still got one over second base last night.
And that's what we
just
need.
Strong.
And that's what we need as a ball club. We need some guys that can come out and give us some good quality at bats. And we've had some fantastic hitters for us that have been imported players over the last couple of years. You know, like the Quincy Lattimores, all those kind of guys. But they've been a bit hit and miss, you know. So we really need to have some guys that have got some fight.
Pete Roses in
Pete Roses, you know, all that kind of stuff. Hey, look, if we had Pete Rose, that'd be fantastic. But, you know, what I'm saying is that we've got some. We don't have any. We haven't got too much flair this year. We really need to have a bit more flair, and you know, some of the guys are going to stand up. So fingers crossed, some of these guys will do that tonight. I've really liked Matthew Smith over the last couple of years. He's really battled. Came over from New South Wales 3 years ago as a bit of a protege of Tony Harris's, and he's settled into Adelaide life, and he's become a real big part of South Australian baseball. I love the way he swings. I don't know whether you've noticed it or not, Spells, but this guy swings out his shoes. And for those people at home that don't understand what I mean, he takes an absolute massive swing at the baseball. And but you know, he hits the ball a lot. You know, it's not like he strikes out a huge amount. Exactly like what I was talking about there. He pulls a lot of balls. He sees the ball really well. Talk about hitters seeing the ball and tracking the ball the whole way out of the pitcher's hand. I don't think I've seen a younger hitter better than Matthew Smith do it in this league as an Australian player. But he just needs to learn how to hit up the middle a little bit more, and he'll be a fantastic hitter.
There's probably an example of that with the pitch middle out that he just fanned at instead of having any real strength. So a guy that likes the ball middle in. So we've got things to work on as hitters. No matter what level you're playing, you must continue to improve. And there's a slider outside that strikes him out.
Matty definitely needs to work on that part of his game. You know, he takes batting practice better than I've seen most guys take batting practice. His approach is fantastic, but when he gets up to the batter's box, he just takes a little bit off there and he doesn't look at that opposite part of the field. Those Spells. I'm really excited about this hitter up right now, Angus Roger. What a story. He's been playing college baseball over in the US for the last 2 years. He signed with the Philadelphia Phillies at 16 years old. Went over there and he went to 2 spring trainings. Never played in a professional game, but went to 2 spring trainings. So he was allowed to go and play college ball. And he went over to college and did a fantastic job over there for the last 2 years. He led his college and was in a couple of all-star teams. But he's a fantastic pickup for the Adelaide Bite team. That ball on the outside part of the plate with Howard going gets the second base on a pass ball. Getting back to Rogues, though, it's going to be a fantastic opportunity for him to really consolidate himself as a starting player for this Adelaide Bite side with Tom Bryce not being part of it this year.
Yeah, absolutely. He's sort of mentioned last night that he's just had a little bit of injury troubles and just things just haven't quite worked. And Aussies mature at different times, and it just seems like he's just starting to really come to grips with it all. And
yeah, well, what we forget though, he's only 21, 22, so he's not an old player. You know, playing college ball would have set him up really, really nicely in regards to having lots of at-bats over the last couple of years. You know, he was in really 2 minds whether he wanted to go and play in college ball because he wanted to know where he was going to go for his baseball. And I had a really good chat with him going back 2 years ago in that decision to say, hey mate, you can stay here in Australia and become a fantastic Australian baseballer. And if he had stayed here in the last 2 years, he would have played almost every game in the last 2 seasons as a DH or platooning with Tommy Bryce. But he took his challenge and went over and played in college. Got a great swing.
Hard ground ball to shortstop that just wasn't quite handled by Carter Bell. Just got a bit of a lifting bounce and he knocked it down, and his throw just dragged Isamagal off the bag, and he arrived safely at first base.
The runners at first and second with 1 out. Fantastic for Adelaide right now. We got a good opportunity to get that run back. But, you have a look at what Rhodes just did then. He hit a ground ball to shortstop and he beat it out. He was kept going. It was a bad throw, but he put pressure on Carter Bell to throw that ball. That's college baseball at its best. These guys go 100 miles an hour straight up that line, and they're not going to sit there and lollygag. They're going to get up there and make you throw it over there, and that's what he did. We got runners at first and second with 1 out.
Chris Adamson, who did a bit of DH. He's banged the ball in the centre right, so the Bite have 1 on the board, and Rowe are attempting to get to third base. Just beat the tag. The Bite have runners in the corners, 1 out, and the score is tied.
What a fantastic out-bat by Chris Adamson. He came up here. He's not a power guy. He knows his role. He came up to a fastball on the outside part of the plate, drove it to right centre. Great running by Angus Roger. He didn't put his foot off at all. Came in hard, bang play at third base. Fantastic throw out by the centre fielder. But real good baseball all round, and no one can be unhappy with that play, Spiller.
Oh, that was superb. Yep, really sensational play by Adamson, and the throw just took McGee off the bag, and that was just enough. So Ben Lodge has come into left field. This is his first at-bat for the night. And he swings over the top of the slider for strike 1.
Another great story, South Australian story, Benny Lodge playing. The last 3 years he's been a real hard-trying baseballer that's been around our program for a long time. We gave him the challenge last year to get bigger, stronger, and he's done that in the last 2 years, and he's been rewarded by Tony Harris tonight. And I'm just rapt to see Ben Lodge now starting his second game consecutive.
Some guys are just natural, Watsy. I mean, this fella on a weekend for his club, could do anything from pitching to catching, perhaps slot into second base if they need it. And here he is being asked to go to the outfield.
Yeah.
And, I hear a lot of stories about how easy outfield is to play, but, I don't think it's that easy. And he played it really well. Had that little blip early where there was just a little miscommunication, and perhaps the centre fielder should have taken charge and helped him out. But
you're 100% right, Spurlo. He's traditionally a middle infield guy. He's got a great arm from the left side. Even to the point where Tony Harris tried to change him to a catcher in the last 2 years, and that's worked well. It's given him another string to his bow. I mean, he's got stronger. His legs are massive. You've got to remember he's only 20 years old or 19 years old, and he's been around the program for 3 years. So, he could be our guy that's going to come in and pinch hit all the time. Unfortunately, a pretty ordinary at-bat from Lodgy, but, he's going to get lots. Everyone's going to strike out. He's going to strike out a lot more times in his career, mate. But, he's still got a bit of nervousness about him. But he's going to be a good player for Adelaide moving forward.
Absolutely. And one thing, certainly from an Adelaidean perspective, is just how we are still playing at least 4 or 5 guys that are rolling around in our club ball, and they're basically club ballers. We said this last year, and not to harp on because, it might be boring, as the field announcer said, but, we're facing organisations that are fully stacked with pros, and we fight hard and we do pretty well. And guys like Ben Lodge have to adapt from club ball to come in and play ABL and face Anthony Claggett and butter up.
Fantastic point again, Sterlo. We have a look at this starting 9 from Perth Heat, and every single one of these players played off-season baseball. They played in a professional level. They played in an organisational kind of baseball league during the off-season, which allows them to get their at-bats in, allows them to get as many innings in as what they can. We've got guys like Dennis Christensen up at the moment, Benny Lodge, Josh Cakebread, all those guys that are not playing at all, and for them to get the opportunity to play at the moment at this level is fantastic, and to be competing. So that's what I want to say.
Absolutely, and as we said, that Dennis Christensen popped one up to second base, which completed the second inning, and the bite bit one back to make it a 1-all ball game. We'll be back real soon, top of the third. Hope you're enjoying things. Hey, we'd love to hear from you. If you were stuck on the side of the road, Watsy, and you thought your battery was flat, what would you do?
I'd look straight at my phone and grab John Beach's phone number from Marshall Batteries.
Oh, well, I'm glad you said that, because holler for a Marshall, the magnificent Marshall Batteries, who support us, their Brisbane, Sydney, Melbourne, Adelaide offices, are magnificent sponsors. And I'm going to give you some contact details for all of those guys when my producer, who's been really lagging at the last couple of nights, Watsy, gets off his behind and does some work for me, because I'm looking like a bit of a goose at the minute. And I know he won't be happy with me saying that. He's a bit grumpy tonight.
Yeah.
And there's a bang straight up the middle by lead-off Corey Adamson. And I said that he'd been struggling a little bit and he needed to hit one on the nose, and he just did.
I've known Corey for a long, long time. I played a lot of baseball with his father. And, let me tell you, that family is an amazing, amazing baseball family. I've seen Corey come through the last 5 years. He had a year off, went back and played in the US this year and did a fantastic job. But he is arguably one of the best baseballers in the country, and he won't be struggling for too long. His swing could be up there with one of the best left-handed swings we've got in the country, and he just proved it right there. He'll come back, and his dad will be proud to be watching tonight, hopefully. And he's just led off the Perth Heat in the third inning with a nice base hit up the middle.
So Mildred picks away inside, but can't find a piece of the plate. without a milker. And I'm just, again, you know, baseballers come in all shapes and sizes, Watsy. You know, it really amazes me. And this guy, you know, not so much an interesting little character, probably a standard, you know, 5'11", a standard sort of guy, but, you know, they pop around and...
You know, Adam shows a bit of power. You know, he's 5'11", which is, you know, just a Collingwood 6-footer, as we'd say in Australia here. But, you know, he shows some great power. Last year, his numbers... great pick off by Paul. Well done by Paul. Paul's been really working on that move for the last couple of years. It's become a bit of a trademark of his. He gets himself into trouble, and he's been really working hard on that pick-off move. And, you know, he wouldn't go through a season where he wouldn't get 4 or 5 guys. So fantastic a pick-off by Paul.
Absolutely, and it's a bit of a given that, you know, you're a left-hander, so you've got a pick-off. But a pick-off move is something, you know, extremely technical, and how you use it and when you use it, etc., etc. It's a real skill and a quality. And here's Millie at what, high 20s? How old is Paul?
Millie's 27 years old.
You know, still working on it, still working it out, still getting better at it.
And this is great for, you know, Millie is a great teacher as well. Not only is he a great pitcher for the Adelaide Bite and the South Australian Baseball, but he's a fantastic teacher. He runs a program at the Sturt Baseball Club where he has around about 35 students that come out, and he teaches them how to pitch, and he's working all the time, and that's what we love about him. Once again, a great pitch in the dirt. Just kept him off balance. When you keep these power hitters off balance, they're going to swing, they're going to strike out, they know they're going to strike out. And you just got to come back. Once you get in front of them, keep them off balance, and that's what's going to happen.
Luke Hughes.
Always looking forward to these battles, Spurlo. I love it when Luke Hughes comes up to bat. Arguably Australia's #1 hitter at the minute. And with Paul Mildren up, it's going to be a great battle.
Chops it down onto his foot for a foul. I just love the change-up, Watsy. I reckon it still is the most underrated pitch. I mean, every hitter sits on speed.
I don't like it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you're a power hitter and you like the ball coming onto the bat, and obviously perhaps if you throw one a bit hard and locate it not so well, but really you could just about, if you took the right pace off of it and it was right down the middle, a little bit like that one, he got out in front, sure, a class act, and he lifted it over the top of third base, but he was beaten by the pitch. He's just a damn good hitter and got a base hit.
Mate, you're 100% right again, and you know, he just kept himself back a little bit. He got off the end of the bat, drove it over to left field, a little Texas leaguer, but you know, that's why he's a major league hitter, and Millie needs to learn from that. You know, he came at him with a fastball to start him off, and then, you know, wanted to work him with a change-up. Just left it a little bit high. Still a good pitch, but you know, he can't leave it up that high to a hitter like Luke.
So Carter Bell, who's none for one tonight, with a ground out to second base at his first at bat. Short stop for the Perth Heat. Carter Bell, hey? Wouldn't be too many Carter Bells in walking the streets of Australia, I wouldn't imagine. Very unique name.
Native of Canada, is that right, Spell?
I believe so. Angus said last night that he was, and
so he's come over to play baseball for the Western Australian League.
Correct.
Yep.
And was a late inclusion, and perhaps they're waiting on a couple of boys to get back in the mix as well, and these guys are getting an opportunity, and as Kevin Clark did last night, you know, showed that they're pretty decent ball players and they can mix it.
Have a look over at third baseline, and Stephen Fish is the new coach for the Perth Heat, and he's got some big shoes to fill. You know, coming off two championship seasons, and you know, the old coach did a fantastic job. Really didn't put a foot wrong. And Fishy's been around the Western Australian baseball scene for a long, long time. He came over as an imported player around about 5 or 6 years ago, maybe even longer, and has been around the organisation. He was, for people at home, he was even one of the grounds crew at Barbagallo Park over in Perth. So, you know, he's gone from raking the bases to being the head coach for the Perth Heat, and he's got some amazing respect in Perth as a baseball person. And, you know, I wish him luck for this season. Not too much luck this weekend, though, Spiller.
As Mildred had another shot to first base to see if he could catch Luke Hughes, and he actually wrong-footed him as well. He just had a shorter lead and was able to fall back and get there. But I love seeing that, because it means that, and there's a nice little shot just into centre right, and Roger peels one off to third base, misses his cut and throws it a fraction wild, but Carter didn't do too much. He just leant on it and nudged it into centre right.
Another little Texas leaguer out to right field, runners at first and third with 2 out. But, you know, one of those little things that we just need to work on as ball players. You know, Angus comes up with it. He had no play at third base and peels one off and misses the cutoff. Now, you've got to play the percentages in this league, guys. You can't go over there, and he was never going to get him, and he could have almost forced an overthrow where we could have had runners at second with another run scored and behind the 8 ball. And, you know, let's have a look at this inning. Millie's pitched pretty well, you know, and now we've got runners at first and third with 2 out, and McGee up to bat again.
Mildred has just built so much that in this craft of pitching, he you know, was a guy that sort of went to the States and, you know, probably being, you know, a fraction in pitching terms, a little vertically challenged at, you know, 5'9", 5'10", you know, sure, coming from the left side, not having a fireball as a fastball. Really, you know, learnt some lessons and did it tough for years and years, and just so fantastic to see him over the last few years, just really growing confidence and really command, you know, that sort of pitch, his change up, and be able to nip away and just be able to really dictate from the mound, and he's been a really valuable pitcher.
Millie's what we call a mosquito. He's always around, you know, he's always buzzing around in the change rooms. You know, when he's down there, he's talking to the coaching staff, he's talking to the other players, he's getting everyone up, he's one guy that talks. He's basically one of the captains of the team. One of the problems is that he needs to control that when he gets out into the mound. One thing you forget about Millie, he was in the 40-man roster with the Florida Marlins, with Kansas City, when he was 22 years old or 21 years old. So, you know, he's been around for a long time and just commands respect from not only from his own team, but from the opposition. And let me tell you, when these guys look at the lineup that they're facing before they go out there, they know that they're facing a good pitcher in Millie. He's been fantastic for Adelaide baseball, and I think he'll be great for us for a long, long time to come.
Yeah, he's a fitness fanatic, which certainly helps from an athletic point of view.
Well, that comes from Darren Fidge.
There's a ground ball that's chopped to shortstop. Creswell attacks it and just gets it to Howard with a third out. A really good inning for the bite then, just to sort of hold sway and give themselves a chance to jump back into the box and maybe take the lead in this game. We'll have a short break and we'll be back in a minute.
All right, my friends, I'm over here on the third base side of our autograph tent with Zach Fuser, last night's pitcher. If you want his autograph or picture with him, come on over to the third base side behind the butt dugout. Zach Fuser, last night's pitcher, signing autographs, third base dugout behind it. Thanks.
Who's running that? You? I've got no idea. Is he running cold, is he? And welcome back to Friday Night Baseball here at Cooper Stadium. Jeremy Creswell leading off the Adelaide Bite. Andrew Sperling just taking a little bit of break from the commentator's box at the minute. Pitch high and outside. Jeremy Creswell, an Adelaide native, playing for Golden Grove. Been a real good stalwart of the Adelaide baseball scene for a number of years, and in the last 3 years with the ABL coming back has really settled himself into the shortstop position and got rewarded with an Australian cap earlier this week, actually, which was fantastic to see Cressy get an Australian cap after many years of playing for South Australia. 3-0 the count. Ball 4 inside. Creswell draws a walk. Fantastic effort by Jeremy.
Second baseman Josh Petray.
As we welcome back Andrew Sperling to the commentator's box, we have Josh Cakebread up to bat. Once again, fantastic night last night. Couple of nice hits. Hit the ball well in his first at bat earlier tonight. Just showing a bit of control problems at the moment, Anthony. Seems to be working a little bit high at the moment. So the Adelaide Bite batters, Sperlo, can just wait to see a couple of good strikes, and then they'll get themselves into a groove, hopefully.
Certainly got to be a team that builds innings and does all the right things. Well, it looked like we had a little bit of pop with Melendrez, and certainly Angus can knock one out. We just got to be patient, make him throw pitches. No doubt he's probably on some form of pitch count, be thinking.
Oh, there's no doubt that he'd be on a certain pitch count. I'm suggesting he'll be on a 90 to 100 pitch count right now. But he's just coming to this fourth inning right now, and he's just not showing. He's not bending his back. He's thrown 7 balls in a row, and there's got to be a little bit of concern over there in the Perth Heat dugout on just what's happening right now. We'll see how he goes here with his 8th pitch of the inning. Comes back with a strike on the outside part of the plate to Josh Cakebread to make it 3-1. It's a good opportunity for Adelaide right now. If we can get another guy on, have Melendez coming up, and with runners at first and second with none out coming into that 4th inning, it's going to be a really good opportunity.
Fastball that he likes to look at.
I think Josh actually forgot that he was a second baseman. Contact hitter there for a minute there.
Yeah.
3-1 swing, came out of his shoes. He shows some pop in a South Australian baseball level, in the local league here, but really hasn't shown a lot of power in the Adelaide Bite lineup over the last 3 years. So he's got to get back to where that swing was one for him. One for him, Spello.
Well, that's fair enough. We're all allowed one for us. Now he needs to knuckle down and get back to basics and drive it. And runner's been sent, Creswell, and he's popped one up to left field.
Left field by Adam Milker.
Good at bat by Josh, really.
Goes in the scoreboard. Coming up first base, Jeremy Creswell, and then brings to the plate number 23, centre fielder Nathan Melendrez.
Magnificent conditions here, absolutely perfect. Probably something like 16 to 18. Just
what's the conversion mild for our USA friends that are watching?
USA? Well, I'd be saying that's roughly
about 75,
70, 75.
Yeah.
So really quite pleasant. There's a bit of breeze or something might be different, but it's just still and it's absolutely ideal.
It is a beautiful night here in Adelaide.
Those Melendres does everything that you'd think a power hitter wouldn't do, and dribble one down the third baseline.
Well, you know, we talk about power hitters, and you know, I got told by one of the world's best power hitters back in '94. Don't be afraid to get jammed, and all power hitters are going to get jammed. All power hitters are going to break bats, and he got jammed right there. Hit a little softball just back to the, you know, just out in front of the catcher, but you know. It's not a good at bat, but at the end of the day, it's going to happen to power hitters because they're going to take a bit of a longer swing.
So Claggett, who's picked himself up a bit as he's got into this inning and found some control, just rolls a nice slider over to get ahead of the count. Again, he nips the outside edge, and it's probably the place to be throwing because, as I said, Howard sort of seems to be the guy that maybe middle in or something just might be his sort of area if he can get those hands at it. As I said, hasn't got a huge amount of extension. He just tight-fisted little hitter. Very strong man. So he could pepper the centre left, centre right alleys with regularity if he got going, and that ball just gets away from Clark, but he's agile enough to bounce to his feet and avoid Creswell advancing 90 feet. He stays at second base. So with one out here in the bottom of the third, just meandering along, just sensing someone's going to break it open not too distantly. So Claggett from the set. There's another slider that Clark blocks, returns to him. Be a matter of one pitch, just like that if Howard had a swung through that, you know, just wrong pitch and just does something with your mind, but he laid off of it, and that pitch he just finds the inside part of the plate and strikes Howard out. As I was just about to say, he might have set himself up for a decent at bat, but not to be. So it remains at one apiece. We'll be back very shortly with the top of the fourth inning. Keep those emails rolling in. Live baseball at the 10thinnings.com.au. See ya.
Softball SA's Gillies Shield National League team. Now we know they can play softball. They've won 5 out of 6. Can they dance? We're about to find out. Take it away.
If you put it down, if you put it down, then you put it down. There.
welcome back everyone as we just see San Miguel smack another one. So he's got a stand-up double to centre left to add to his solo bomb to left field.
Once again, first pitch fastball, just left it up a little bit high, and then San just once again drills it to the fence. I must say I'm not unhappy here, Spells, because I have got him in my dream team this weekend.
Yeah, well, you'd spoke to me about this. You'll have to either encourage, or there obviously might be some
everybody
in on it. But
yeah, absolutely. Well, the Adelaide Bite showed some initiative this week by introducing a fantasy league to the ABL, and it was launched 2 days ago. So
a ground ball up the middle to advance San Miguel to third, and in turn a wild throw from Creswell and a little lazy act of baseball scores him.
That's disappointing, you know. Cressey's arguably one of the country's best shortstops, but he does get lazy on that throw when he comes in, and it's a routine play. Just drops his elbow a little bit and throws it over. He's a better baseballer than that. He knows it. He'll be sitting there thinking about that. He'll make one of the best plays you'll see tonight at some stage during the evening. That's what he does. But unfortunately, we give away a run, and Perth Heat lead us 2-1 with none out, runners in second base. So getting back to the Fantasy League, Spurlo, Mike Murray, the Assistant General Manager for the Adelaide Bite, have started up a Fantasy League, and the response was absolutely amazing on Facebook when it launched 3 days ago. So do yourself a favour, you can't get involved this weekend, but next weekend and the weekend after, you pick out your own fantasy baseball team from your 3 or 4 starters, then your relief pitchers. Then you pick out your field, and you've got that whole team for the whole weekend throughout the league, not just for the team that you support, but you can pick it out. So you can pick from Canberra, Sydney, Queensland, Brisbane Bandits. I apologise, but and you can pick out your own fantasy team. So pretty good opportunity.
Awesome. And I know you got Millie in yours.
I've got Millie in mine at the moment, so I want Millie to have a win, but I don't mind D-Sound getting a couple of base hits.
Yeah, well, I mean that would be. I would suggest in terms of points and all of that sort of thing, he'd be on fire at the moment. D-San.
Absolutely.
Foul ball. 1 ball, 2 strikes to count.
Elliot Hargraves is filling the DH slot for the Heat tonight. On that bat last night, struck out. And his first at bat tonight, he struck out. He gets jammed, pokes one to Smith, third base, who has a look at second just to keep Anderson honest, and then fires it over to first base to say au revoir to Elliot Hargraves. And Kevin Clark, the catcher from last night, who started off like an absolute rocket. What did he do at his first couple of at-bats? He had a double to centre right and then a single to right field, and struck out a couple of times and was hit by a pitch ball. So he had a bit of a real good look around.
Yeah, he's one of these
ball
guys
in the dirt that. It's amazing that. Like Adamson seemed to be looking at it and be thinking that the play was occurring, but not really reacting, until it became a real pressure play, and then he piffed one and nearly threw it to left field to score another one.
Look, it's one of the things that a lot of these guys work on now is reacting to the ball in the dirt as a base runner, and that's exactly what the runner did then. He saw the ball, the trajectory of the ball, going into the ground, and he just made a go for it, and didn't get too far away from Adamson. He picked up on it and made a half decent throw over there, but he was never going to get there before the runner. getting some fantastic text messages at the moment from a few people, so keep them rolling in. If you've got any questions for Andrew or I, please send them through via the email address. Andrew, do you want to give us that email address again?
Yes, live baseball at the 10th innings. That is THE and 10 as the digits. THINNINGS.com.au. Live baseball at the 10th innings.com.au. We're always eager to hear from you as Clark picks up a walk to fill the corners with one out. Here in the top of the third, the Heat already scoring one on a wild throw. This just might be the inning that we haven't been looking forward to. Let's hope not, Watsy.
Look, Millie's just got to show some more composure. He's done it a couple of times this game. He's got himself back and showed a bit more composure. Obviously he can't let what happens behind him get into his head. It's very hard to do that as a pitcher, I'm sure. I've never really been in that situation where I've been on the bump and had guys behind me. But I can appreciate what these guys go through. They're throwing their guts out and making good pitches, and the guys aren't backing them up, so they can only do what they can do and control the controllable. So hopefully he can be just come back a little bit. We've got one out with runners in the corners, and hopefully Paul can come back and make some good pitches here.
Corey Adamson gets one on the handle. They look to roll a double play. And all they succeed in doing is forcing Clark out at second base, but not before Anderson scores.
That was an interesting play, Spello. We had a softball hit back to Millie, and Millie was just thinking double play the whole way, but he really had an opportunity to throw the guy out at the plate. The call came from Adamson quite loud. I heard it from up here, so he had an opportunity to go to the plate, but he went straight to second base. And that's the mindset. That's when a guy, he's up there, he's thinking, what am I going to do when a ball comes to me? He's not reactive. And that's not a bad thing, but he wasn't reactive to that ball. He knew exactly. Well, he was thinking, if the ball comes back to me, I'm going to two to get the double play, get myself out of this, and he was never going to get that double play when the ball comes back to him so softly. So, Millie there just wasn't thinking straight. He's got to react a little bit better to that, and he'll know it.
So, as a little example to the kids at home that are watching this and hopefully watching it intently, it means that as much as you have a pre-plan, and it's good to do that, to think ahead and what's going to happen here if this happens and that happens, you still have to be adaptable enough to still make a decision quickly. And right there he let one roll across the plate in an attempt for a double play, and puts us behind 3-1 in the top of the fourth, and they're still going. As that ball is torn to right field by Melker.
Millie just showing a bit of emotion there. You guys might not have picked up on that, but he was disappointed with that pitch, and when he was backing up, he showed a bit of emotion, but that's not a bad thing, so hopefully Millie can pick up on that.
So the Heat fill the corners again. Wally Marks is just coming out for a quick visit. While we have this opportunity, we'll just talk about a couple of our sponsors. Colts Baseball Academy is one of those. They're all qualified professional instructors, these men. They have a fantastic overseas tour, which they generally leave in July and travel to many states of America, and it's just a wonderful experience. You can find out more about that Colts Baseball Academy by just going to our website, the10thinnings.com.au. Find some information there. Duct air conditioning, as I said to you, if you're in the market for a ducted air conditioning unit at the moment, they will give you a free upgrade to their university tested fully labelled Energy Smart system on any ducted air conditioning system purchase. So as I said, if you're in the market, you buy a medium to high grade, they will upgrade you to their fully labelled Energy Smart system. Just mention MUTS or the 10th in it when you go into any duct air conditioning outlet. So it doesn't get any easier for the Adelaide Bite as Luke Hughes strides to the plate. Mildren fires to first in a bit of a look-see to see what may be going on.
See a bit of activity in the Adelaide Bite bullpen right now. We've got Darren Fidge over there warming up. Fairly good pitch, just a little change up there on the outside part of the plate. Just fooled Luke Hughes a little bit. He went around, just couldn't hold him back. Another good move to first base by Millie. Just keeping him honest there, making sure that there's no runners going, mate, with Luke Hughes up to bat.
Using his full angle of the dangle on the mound. Really looking, trying to fake as if he was coming to the plate. Puts one by Luke Hughes.
Wouldn't be surprised if we see something off speed on the outside part of the plate. Luke could be thinking that he wants to drive something. There's two out. You can't just get a fly ball, so he's going to be trying to look to drive something. Two-strike approach would be see how he goes here.
Delivers another fastball that he locates down and low. To the ball for a 2-2 count. 2 out here. Top of the fourth.
Not a bad pitch by Millie. He just tried to keep it low. See what he does here.
Just a change up for Mildren, which Hughes was out in front of again, and goes to the back pocket for a bit of chalk to just cue that stick up again and fire away. So Hughes hitting in the 3 hole for the Heat. The prime hitter. Gets a fastball up and in that doesn't seem to worry him too much.
2 strikes and 2 out in the top of the 4th inning.
3-2 here. We're going to see the runner going. 2 out. We're going to see the runner going over there at first base. So we're going to have some movement over there. Wouldn't be surprised to see a pick-off. No, it's 2-2.
And it's full 3 balls, 2 strikes.
Sorry, mate, that was my bad. I
don't know if it was your bad, Andrew. I looked over the scoreboard, mate, and they had 3-2 as well before that. So that's what I was going off. Apologise for the viewers at home, but we'll see the runner going here now. Howard playing off the bag.
It's a chopper, third base. Smith has to throw.
Foul ball.
Foul ball, I got.
Tell you what, it was close though.
Smith certainly played it as if it was a live ball.
Good call by Neil Polton, actually. Neil's one of Australia's premium umpires. Umpired at the Baseball World Cup. Umpired at the World Championships. It's great when you've got an umpire like Neil, behind the plate taking control. That just stops it from, just stops any kind of indecision that the guys have got when he makes a decision like that. So well done, Pops.
Same again, but Mildren puts this change up in the dirt. It's been a pitch that's been very successful for him tonight. Got a 3K 2 to 3s, but not this time. Luke Hughes just too good. Laid off that pitch. Takes a walk to load the bases with 2 out here in the top of the 4th inning, where the Heat have already put bang 2 on, and
Looks like we're going to have a pitching change here, I think.
We have. This is the second visit, so manager Harris somehow waddles his way out to the mound. He's not moving too well, the old TA.
Oh, Tony is an absolute fitness fanatic, and it's good to see him still running out there. But as he says goodbye to his starting pitcher, Paul Mildred. Millie would be disappointed with that outing. He'd be really disappointed with that. You know, but you know what? We've got one of Adelaide's or South Australian stalwarts of our great game, Darren Fitch, coming up now, and he's going to hopefully be able to put this little fire out and throw some balls. And looking forward to seeing what Fidji's got to offer tonight. That's for sure.
Absolutely. I think it's a good pitching change. I think Millie been working, had a pretty good pre-season and been playing local ball here, but local ball isn't like this level with this quality of hitters. It's probably stretching into the high 60, 70 pitch mark, I would imagine. And they just gathered that maybe now's the time and let the right-handed Fitch come in and hopefully work through a few innings and scoreless inning and keep it as minimal as possible and keep themselves in the game. So you can never take a pitcher out too late.
Tony,
too early, only too late.
Tony's one of the most amazing, or one of Australia's best coaches, and he'd be looking at the matchups. That's what he'd be doing. He'd be looking at the matchups and seeing that there's a right-handed hitter coming in right now in Carter Bell. So he's going to bring a lefty in. I'll bring a righty in to face him. So he would have been looking at the matchups. I'm telling you right now, if there was a left-handed hitter coming up to bat in this position right now, Millie would have stayed here, there's no doubt. But he would have just been looking at the matchups and going, you know what, we're going to keep him on his right side and bring in the strength. So, Fiji hopefully will make some good pitches here and get ourselves out of the jam.
Friday night baseball here at Norwood. We are in the top of the fourth innings. It is a 3-1 ball game. There are 2 outs. The bases are loaded.
So to give you a bit of an update here, Peter leading at 3-1. We're in the top of the fourth. We've got 2 out, loaded bases, and the bite have gone to the pen. And the old stager in Darren Fidge jumps on the mound for maybe the millionth time in his life.
He's had a bit of TV time over the last couple of weeks too. He's on a national commercial, TV commercial at the moment, which is fantastic. Darren is involved with the Australian Institute of Fitness. He's one of the instructors that actually instructs all the wannabe fitness trainers. And he's been blessed to be on a commercial at the moment in his Adelaide white uniform. So all the hard work that he's been able to do, he's been able to get himself a little bit of exposure with that. But I've always said that Fiji could be one of the hardest working professional or semi-professional athletes that I've ever played with or seen. His work ethic is second to none, and that's why he's nearly 39 years old, still throwing 85, 88 miles an hour with a nice slider. He's just got to try and get himself out of a bit of a jam tonight, though.
Yep, well, he's 1 ball, 2 strikes. He wasted that pitch. He started up with a couple of sliders that he got over the plate. So he's in rhythm. Carter Bell with a ground out to second base and a single to centre right. Looking to take advantage for the heat here with loaded bases, 2 out as Fitch delivers. He gets a change up that wobbles across the outside part of the plate but just couldn't quite find it. This is a great pitch. Lovely located pitch. And Bell again either guessed correctly or just froze and didn't swing, and it was a correct decision because
this is a really important pitch here.
So Fidge delivers and gets him to pop up. Adamson trying to get underneath this ball. It's right underneath, right at the back net, and he took it like a pro. So that was a magnificent effort by Finch, and we snuffed the potential disaster out. The Heat still score 2. They lead it 3-1. We'll be back in a minute for the bottom of the 4th. See you in a sec. So welcome back, Anthony Claggett in his 4th innings of work here. Smith shapes to bunt.
I've got a special guest.
Okay.
Hello mate, how are you? We've got old Bernie to come in and have a chat with us here. Adrian Burnside, I'll pass it over to you. What's he?
Well, what a fantastic opportunity we've got right now. We've got an ex-Major League player and one of Australia's best produced pitchers in Adrian Burnside come to join us. Welcome, Adrian.
Yes, sir. Hi, how are you all doing that?
You're doing very well, mate. So what brings you back to Adelaide?
I'm just doing a little bit of work for a company called Katie Grip. Just trying to, basically it's a bat grip, fits on cricket bats and baseball bats. Just trying to set up distributors and all that kind of business. So just more of a business trip than anything.
Fantastic, mate. And so you've come out to watch the Adelaide Bite play tonight, and what's your take on tonight's game so far?
You know what? Looks like Perth got off to a bit of a jump on us, but like I say, we're only in the 4th inning, so the third, bottom of the 3rd, so top of the 4th. So yeah, we got plenty of game left.
Excellent. Yeah, we've been talking about Paul Mildren pitching tonight, and just showed a bit more emotion than what he normally has in the past couple of seasons, and that just could be a little bit of nervousness for his first game. But you and Paul have had a lot to do with each other over the last few years, and he probably would have learned a lot from you when you were playing, and being a left-handed pitcher yourself. Did you have a chat with Paul before the game?
I didn't have a chat to him before the game. You know, I try and leave guys alone. Like before the game, most of the pitchers have a routine they stick to, and so you know you kind of let them go after, or let them do that whatever their routine is. You know, he was always been a pretty fiery guy for me, though. You know, he's got that that hard nose, about him, and he's the kind of guy that's given 110% every time he goes out there. So tonight they got the better of him, but you know what? He's going to keep battling throughout the season.
Fantastic. Just to give you guys a bit of an update, we had Matthew Smith draw a walk in the bottom of the 4th here. Angus Roger up to bat, and we've got 2 balls and 2 strikes on him at the moment. So are you continuing to play, or have you fully retired now, Bernie?
Pretty much hung them up, mate. I haven't picked up baseball in about a year, so finished up playing down in Mexico. Played for 16 years, and I pretty much got to that point where when you're done, you played for many years as well. You get to that point where it's the end of the road and it's time to hang it up and start doing something else.
Absolutely. We see a pass ball there, which was something we haven't seen from Anthony tonight. So we got none out with runners at second base. Angus will be looking to drive him around at the moment, move him around, just try and see if we can claw one back. Yeah, it's a tough decision to make when you retire, there's no doubt, and it's one thing that's when you're a bit older, it does get a bit easier to make, especially when you've got children involved and all that kind of stuff. Here we see, just before we get onto that, here we see Graham Lloyd, another fantastic lefty, and someone that you've probably, moulded your career on, Bernie. Come out to the mound to see Anthony and just have a chat with him about, what's going on. We've got runners at first and second with none out. We've got the number 7 hitter coming up right now. He's probably going to lay down a bunt, there's no doubt here. I don't know, my coaching shoes are on right now. I'm probably laying down a bunt.
I think you're doing a pretty good job there, Woody. Going back to Graham Lloyd, I tell you what, he's definitely one of the greatest Australian baseballers, and great guy as well. I learned a lot from him over the course of my career. I had the pleasure of playing with him on numerous Australian teams. 2004 Athens Olympics, played with him, and I tell you what, talk about a first-class guy. He's always there to help the younger guys, and that's what it's all about when you get a little bit older. Pass on your knowledge, and and that's going to help the Australian baseball program a lot.
Yes, mate, he's been a fantastic ambassador for our game, not only in Australia, but he also supports us overseas when he goes back and plays in those New York Yankee old veteran days as well. Look, we've got 0-1 right now. Adamson up to bat. He's coming around for a bunt. We're trying to move him over here. Fouls that ball off. There's no excuse for us for guys at this level not trying to get the bunt down. They practice it all the time. It just becomes something that they should be doing a lot, but it isn't as easy as what you see it, what you think it should be, but it just becomes a little bit harder when you're in this situation. What about you from a hitting point of view, mate? Have you had many at-bats? Yeah.
I had a few at-bats over the years, but as a pitcher, that's pretty much all you do is work on bunting, you know what I mean? By the end of my career, I had no problem getting the bunt down. I probably must have bunted balls millions of times in the batting cages, so it was... by the end of my career, I pretty much mastered it. The only problem was it took me 16 years.
That's all right. You can open up the Adrian Burnside Bunting Academy when you get back home. So you're still living in America, mate. You're over there now. You've got 3 beautiful children living over in California. You're also running a bit of a baseball school, having young kids coming through. You're still enjoying all that?
Yeah, I am actually. I started a pitching academy. It's called Bernie's Baseball Academy, or Bernie's Baseball Institute. And basically I work with a lot of young pitching in Southern California. Baseball in Southern California is played pretty much all year round. Just the weather's good. So you see these guys playing all year round. So a lot of parents are looking for quality coaching, just like they are in any sport, I guess.
Sorry, we'll just take a little change of pace there. Chris Adamson struck out there on a ball that I didn't think he went across on. But that's what happens when you don't put your bunt down. Now we've got 1 out with runners at first and second. Benny Lodge up to bat now, and hopefully he can get the job done. He'll be looking to drive something. Takes the first pitch over the plate, fastball for strike 1. So how long are you finding yourself here in Adelaide for in Australia, mate?
I'm gonna be in Australia for a total of about 3 weeks. I'm heading back right around the 20th, back to Southern California. I'll be in Adelaide until Thursday or Friday. And then I'll be off to Melbourne. Go see the Aces play for a little bit.
That ball was hit sharply to the third baseman. Fantastic play over there. Fantastic play by Josh McGee, going to his backhand, falling onto a back and making a play off his backside. And I literally mean off his backside. He was laid out. Made a half decent throw over to D-Sam Miguel, not in time, and just drew him off the bag a little bit. What we're seeing now is we've got loaded bases with young Dennis Christensen up to the plate. This would be a great opportunity for Dennis to show everybody here in Adelaide that, you know, he's not just a bit part, and he's going to be able to give us an opportunity to score some runs. Takes low, ball one. That was great by Dennis. He just showed a little bit of maturity there by asking the umpire just so he can step out. You know, it's not often that you see a young guy, take that and just step out. Ground ball to first base, trying to roll the double play. Fantastic turn by Perth Heat. That's one of the better double plays that you'll see in that situation. They had their backs up against the wall there, and fantastic pitch there to and a 3-6-1 to finish off the inning. Unfortunately, Adelaide didn't capitalise on a good opportunity there, and they'd be pretty upset with that. We're going to take a break right now, and when we come back, you'll have the beautiful tones, the dulcet tones of Andrew Sperling.
The Little League is about to hang on the field.
Hello everyone, welcome back. We've got a couple of emails here, Roberto Angotti, MLB for life. Hi guys, love the broadcast tonight, watching live from Orange County, California now, close to 2 a.m. Please have a read of my 50 plus articles on the ABL and follow me on Twitter at ABL Blogger. Fantastic to hear from you, Roberto. Always from our friends around the world who have a common interest and love in baseball. Just awesome of you to email us. So Fiji, back where he does it best, to Josh McGee. Got a 1-1 count. Top of the fifth here with the Heat. 3-1 leaders. It's one bouncer straight back at Fidge, who wanders his way over to first base and makes a routine little out.
Number 11, first baseman Allen DeSanto.
Also had my buddy Jane Pike from my source, and no doubt our mate Edo is there as well, and giving us a little ins and outs and do's and don'ts. We've got them. We're doing our best for you. Hope you two are keeping it tidy in the boardroom, and I'm sure you are. A couple of respectable, lovely people like yourselves. We had an email here from Brendan from Perth, who was giving us a bit of an update on things. Let you know Carter Bell is actually the Baltimore import. It's Kevin Clark and David Anderson that came over to play in the Western Australian League and were the late inclusions. And McGee isn't an import. He's a young Aussie kid, went to college for a couple of years and is back now. So thanks, Brendan. That's what we need, mate. Always lovely to hear from our Perth viewers. And what wouldn't you be excited about at the moment? For the first-class team playing first-class baseball. So Fidge to D-Sam Nagal, who swings through one for strike 3 in the second out.
Now batting, number 3, right fielder, David Anderson.
So speak of the devil, David Anderson, who takes another routine regulation Fidge slider across the outside edge for strike 1. To the double to left field and got on via a wild throw to 6, and he's got one off the higher end of the bat which is punched down the first baseline, and he gets 2 bases. So Anderson with his second double of the evening. Just to keep everyone guessing, a double down the left field line and a double down the right field line. So with 2 out here in the top of the 5th. The Perth Heat 3 and the Adelaide Bite 1. As Elliot Hardgraves takes a high fastball for ball 1. Nice pick up in the dirt from Adamson. Base saver. One of the little 1%ers in baseball. Ball escapes to the back net and strolls Anderson to the third and improves his chances of scoring. So Fidge just nips away with a little change up outside. As he delivers again. Anderson's on his way. And a great throw by Adamson, but just a fraction high, and Smith in his attempt to claw the ball and get it down to the base of the bag, not quite quick enough. So some very aggressive baseball by the Perth Heat. They would only do it if it was on offer, and they must have felt it was. One of those little cardinal rules of baseball, not to be the third out at third. But as Fidge throws another slider that Elliot Hargrave swings right over the top of, and that ends the top of the 5th. So Perth Heat 3, Adelaide Bite 1. We'll have a short break and be back in a moment.
So you have a fun in your hand, and I want to see you go crazy, guys. So just have a
looking for a gig tomorrow night?
The mascot race at the end of this half innings. Leading off here Adelaide by shortstop number 1, Jeremy Cresswell.
Welcome back to Cooper Stadium. Lead-off hitter Jeremy Creswell takes strike one. That was great hearing from Bernie earlier. He's still sitting next to us. Thank you very much for coming up and joining us earlier, Bernie. Really appreciate it.
No problem, mate. Anytime.
Excellent. So Adelaide Bite, got to get something going here.
Yeah, I tried to rope him in for tomorrow night with the 2 cans of Coopers and a pizza after game. Just was not enough. Not enough, watching. We're going to increase our salary cap or something.
It's actually quite funny, you know. We got Adrian Burnside sitting next to us, and if he was in Japan, there would be 300, 400 people mobbing him right now. As we see Jeremy Creswell hit a ball out in the left field for a base hit to get the Adelaide Bite started in the 5th inning. Fantastic at bat by Jeremy. But as I get back to, you know, this is why we're so lucky in Australia, Spiro. We've got some fantastic baseballers and some fantastic athletes that kind of come out here and they come and they sit around, have a beer, and you know, like the Pat Kellys of the world, Adrian Burnsides, and people in Australia just don't understand how big these guys are in their you know, in the land that they're living right now, or where they've played. And Adrian Burnside was an absolute star in Japan and Korea, and to have him sitting next to us and commentating with you and I is an absolute awesome opportunity.
Absolutely. It's just an honour because and they do it so willingly, and we've got some other things for you on the 10th inning. We're going to get Andrew Scott on, who again, he had a great career in Japan and was a sensational Australian baseballer, and going to diversify a bit, and going to get Daryl Harper up here, the international umpire, and you know, give you a bit of another perspective. But he's a baseball nut, and you know, he sees a hell of a lot of major league stuff that we don't get to in his journeys around the world. So we've got a lot to offer, and I'm really pleased to have Craig here with us tonight and doing a lot of solid stuff for us. As Cakebread tried to land one into centre left, but it just couldn't do it.
Josh has taken some great at-bats the last couple of nights. He's really changed his approach. He's not trying to pull the ball as much as what he used to. But it's great to see Josh taking some good at-bats. See Nathan Melendrez come up to the bat right now. He'll be looking to get something happening this inning. He's had a couple of good at-bats tonight, and unlucky not to get a base hit, so be interesting to see how he goes this at-bat.
You know, I'm sitting next to a man who was a power hitter, and it doesn't matter whether you're none for 1, 2 for 4, 0 for 5. When Guy has got some pop, he is dangerous, and the pitcher knows it. And Melendrez only needs one decent swing to make an impact on the scoreboard. So old Nate Melendrez, and if any of the American parents or relatives are listening in the States and wondering how your kid's going or what's happening, just drop us an email, livebaseball@the10thinnings.com.au, and we can give you a bit of a running report. We're really feel it's a privilege and an honour to be able to give you a broadcast and telecast here that we're a long way away and your kids might be travelling for the first time as you did. When did you go to America? How old were you?
I was 17 years old and went and lived in America, and I was lucky enough to sign a professional contract with the Los Angeles Dodgers in 1991. So it was a long time ago, 21 years ago. But it was a big thing, you know, when you leave your country, you leave your parents, you leave your family, and you go to another country, and especially from an Australian point of view back then. You know, we didn't have email, we didn't have Facebook, we didn't have mobile phones. Literally, I was speaking to my dad every 2 weeks on a Sunday night, which Sunday night seemed to be the night that everyone spoke to on the phone. Writing letters to my wife Natasha. You know, just all these different things that are so different. And now, you know, I speak to Stephen Welsh and Shannon Lodge quite a lot, and they're both now, you know, they Skype every night. They're on Facebook every night, you know, or they're emailing or whatever they're doing, and it's just a big thing for a player. When they're away from home, they're away from their loved ones, they're doing the thing that they love, to have that confidence that they can just pick up the phone, pick up the email, whatever they need to do, and have some kind of contact. So certainly the players these days have got a lot easier than what all us old guys had back in the day.
Yeah, you betcha the world is shrinking. We are able to, you know, the channels of communication is quite incredible. And I am an absolute nuffy when it comes to that world.
I wouldn't say that, Spello. You're certainly not enough for your knowledge of baseball is very, very good, as we see Howard strike out for the second time tonight, I think, unfortunately. So he's struggling a little bit. So we're coming into the sixth innings. Perth Heat leading the Adelaide by 3-1 with another opportunity, a couple of opportunities to score some more runs moving forward.
Yes, that completes the fifth with the Heat still 3 and the Bite at 1. And I'd like to take this opportunity to mention MC Sportswear down there, nearly the corner of Port and Woodville Road. You go in to see Grant McCarran and tell him the boys at the 10th inning said to come in and say good day. They have everything, baseball apparel, softball, obviously equipment, and then all the nicks and the knacks with a little bit of, just some batting gloves or whatever you need. You go and see Grant McCarran at MC Sportswear and he will look after you. We'll have a short break and we'll be back in a moment.
Good enough. Welcome back to Cooper's Stadium. Darren Fidge on the mound. We've just been told by our producer Andrew that we may need to talk a little bit further away from the microphone, so we actually apologise to all of our listeners if it's been a little bit distorted or a bit loud. But we are working with some fantastic new equipment that you've got on board.
Yeah.
And
yes, well, we are. But, one thing that we haven't got is a microphone stand. And if we did, we'd be at the perfect distance away every time. But, we're getting clipped around the ear holes. But in that little self-indulgent moment for us, Kevin Clark struck out.
Really good approach by Darren Fidge coming into this inning. He's starting to settle in a little bit, showing his maturity, showing exactly why he's out there now for the Adelaide Bite, and some really good pitching there in the last at bat. Once again, Corey Adamson, line drive up the middle, base hit. Just a fantastic approach again from Corey. Just like the way he just swings the bat and his approach. Just awesome to watch a young guy like that, Spello.
Well, there's an adjustment immediately. We mentioned last night that he'd rolled over on at least 4 at-bats to second base. So he, with probably a bit of jelksy in his ear and a little bit of a discussion, just really needed to hold those hands back and be looking to drive the ball up the middle. You've heard it a million times from coaches. Stay back, drive up the middle, and that's exactly what Corey's done. And this Fidge to Adamson, who is Adamson of the Corey type, swiped second base and beat the throw from Chris Adamson. No relation, I do believe. No relation.
No relation to Corey, no. Chris has come over from New South Wales, a.k.a. Tank. Came over here as a recommendation from Matthew Smith, actually, last year. And he knows Tony Harris from Australian teams. And, we just got crossed up there. Which, you know what, that's not uncommon at Norwood Oval with this lighting. You will see it at least once a weekend where the catcher gets crossed up. You know, and it's no fun being, as an old catcher, no fun being crossed up when an 85, 88 mile an hour fastball comes down and you're expecting an off-speed pitch and it cops you on the knee like it just did with Adamson there.
Absolutely. I would suggest that you are riding each and every pitch with your perfect scenario of what you called, and yes, if you're throwing off balance it would be a little unsettling, but I'm a big rap for him tonight. It's been an area that, just looking at our roster and not being overly critical, but it was an area that I was a bit concerned about, but he's done a terrific job tonight, really supported his staff, the infield playing in for the bite because they're getting into the later innings, and every run is just so valuable at the moment. It's within reach, and 3-1's a whole lot better than 5-1. So Bide trying to minimise.
Yeah, we talk about catches and them running the game, and one of the things that Adelaide have struggled with for the last few years is actually bringing up some local catching stocks. And right now we've got some really good catches coming through the system, and Adamson, and as one doesn't get away from him, that ball was definitely about 2-3 metres short of the home plate. Fidge can do that, he holds the ball a little bit tight and just winds one up and lands it in the grass area there. That's absolutely impossible for a catcher to block. There's no way in the world that he would have been able to stop that from getting past him. So you have to put that one as a wild pitch for Fidge. Not good when you've got a runner at third base and you're trying to hold him, and you've got Luke Hughes coming up to bat. How would you feel about that?
Well, these are the testing times, and you can even suggest by body language Fidge's a little bit fidgety on the mound, and he's certainly, as Craig said, a mosquito. He's a buzzer, but normally a little bit in control when he's out there, but just feeling it at the moment, and you sure would with the engine room of the heat coming up. 1 run scored, top 6, Heat taking a 4-1 lead. Fidge knows the importance of this time right here, right now. He needs to knuckle down, and if you could give us a double play ball, it'd be superb. Hughes fouls that one off.
Thanks to SA Power Networks.
thank you to our wonderful sponsor and great friend in John Beach from Melbourne to tell us that everything's coming through loud and clear. Better give us a bit of a holler for a Marshall call. What's that? We love the Marshall batteries. Stranded on the side of the road or feeling like you're losing power, there's only one place to go, and that is Marshall batteries. So there's a real pause here at the moment with a lot of anticipation. It's a very important time of this ball game.
Luke Hughes just took a nice swing there with 2 and 1 and fouled one onto his foot. Not the most pleasant feeling in the world, so he's just taking a bit of time to have a bit of a run around and feel it. He's still feeling it right now. So, it's one of those things, Spurlo, that as a hitter, when you have done something that's not normal and you've kind of fouled one onto your foot, you are thinking about that. You do take your mind off it a little bit. It'll be interesting to see how he goes right here. Off-speed pitch on the outside part of the plate by Fiji to go 3 and 2, brings it to a full count with 1 out.
As the runner gets moving, and a little over the top slap into left field by Hughes. Again, you just got to admire the man. I mean, he was half baffled by the pitch and got out in front and nearly with one hand on the bat he topped it into left field. And you can say what you like, he didn't hit it and the pitcher beat him, but good hitters are hard to beat, and he was fooled by the pitch but was still good enough to get himself his second hit for the night.
Another one of my super players. I happen to have him on my super team at the minute.
Why wouldn't you? What's he going? 2 for 3.
A couple of runs scored maybe.
6.66 average. So Fidge with runners on first and second works inside, and this is a little bit unusual because the battery, and they better be hollering for a Marshall because at the moment it's just not happening for them.
A couple of very special birthdays.
And for a couple of guys that play for the Goodwood Indians, and no doubt have worked together enormously over the last year or two, just a little bit disjointed at the moment.
Yeah, these guys have worked together for a couple of years now, and they'll be working through it. They just had a little meeting on the plate, on the mound there. Good curveball inside by Darren Fidge. It's an interesting time right now. We've got some action in the Adelaide Bite bullpen. Aaron Probanik warming up in the Adelaide bullpen right now.
Heads up over there, folks.
I would suggest that the leash wouldn't be too much longer on Fiji right now. I'd be looking at seeing what happens at this hitter within the next at bat.
Yes, I think you're right, Watsy. I would suggest that with the left-hander up next, that Fidge better put his best foot forward right here. The old veteran. Middle relief is always an interesting role, and he's doing okay. I mean, primarily his job would be to keep his team in the game, and at 4-1 it's still viable, and that ball is punched long and deep. Oh, and in the process of Nate Melendrez, he took that ball. That ball was well and truly in his glove, and I'm not sure on impact with the fence that it's boggled out of his mid, or whether he had the nous to throw it back into the field of play and they may claim a catch, but Nate is a little bit shaken up at the minute.
Wow, Andrew, you know, I don't know if you all saw that at home, and you're looking at our fence right now, and he showed absolutely no fear going back for that ball. You know, I don't know if you can see it on our coverage right now, if you can kind of get that back up, but if you see that right now, you'll see that there's actually a pipe going across the top there that may have struck his head. There is no.
In the field, Johnny. Yep, do it again.
There's no doubt that that was an amazing effort from Melendez there. Yeah, mate. I don't know. I don't know whether he caught that or not, or whether that kind of came out as he hit it. Unfortunately, we don't have the replay system, but. We might have a bit of a delay in play right now because it might take a while to fix the fence. The old SA Power Networks fence out there. But Spillo, you know, as an old outfielder yourself, you know, you see guys doing that kind of stuff there, the courageousness, and you know that just might bring us back to, you know, obviously we're down 7-1 right now, but. That was an amazing play. I mean, just to show the commitment there.
And surprisingly, that ball was stung off the bat. It looked a little poppy from here, but it actually flew to centre right, and Nate knew it straight off the bat that he was in a little bit of strife, and he really drop stepped and shuffled his way back to the right spot. And I mean, I'm saying, you know, my eyes aren't so fantastic, but 350 feet away, I looked like he took the catch, but I would know that Coach Harris would be out there remonstrating and having a little bit. I'm just not sure what we're going to end up with here, and we will. It looks like that it was a drop catch, 2 runs scored. Carter Bell gets himself a triple, or maybe a double with a.
No, there's no way in the world that that's an error. You know, the ball comes out of his glove, even if he did have it in his glove there. That the home run fence is part of the field. It's in play, and you know, it's the same thing as if you kind of hit the ground, the ball bumps out. So a bit unlucky there by the Adelaide Bite. But we're back into play. They fixed the home run fence pretty quickly, and Perth Heat are now seeing themselves up 6-1 after some big events that have just happened.
What would a game of baseball be without an outfielder crashing into the fence on an attempt? Saw an absolutely fantastic catches in the recent World Series by outfielders. I am just such a go for them. I cannot take when somebody tells me that they're buffoons that go out there and can just catch everything, because it is make or break time with outfielders. Infielders will put them on, but outfielders will let them score, and they're with absolutely total hats off to Melendrez, who committed himself, and with a steel panel fence, it's no easy ride as Fidge finds the outside of McGee's plate for a called strike, which Josh, I think he questions it fractionally. Fidge again and gets a comebacker. He's got a play to home, where in fairness Carter Bell didn't really make it any worse than it could have been, and made a little bit of contact with catcher Adamson, but he had prime spot, and it would have been a bit of stupidity to have barreled him. So good stuff, Carter.
Yeah, well done to Darren Fidge and Chris Adamson there. Fidge made a reaction play there, came in, composed himself, threw the ball to, or underhand the ball to Adamson to get the tag at home plate. You know, as a catcher, he stood his ground, and McGee did the right thing, as you said, mate. He didn't try and hurt him or do anything silly. It was a collision to be at the plate, but there wasn't any malice in it, and it was a nice little play by Chris to hold his ground. So we see 2 out with runners at first base, and Desan Miguel up to bat. Showing some great form tonight, hitting a double and a home run. Taking the pitch for a strike to bring it to 1-1.
Steve Fish just flashing some signals to his runner. San Miguel takes the pitch a little up and a little out, and as long as you do it respectfully and in the right way, he just asks umpire Polton location of pitch, and it was confirmed that it was where it was, and he acknowledges in a professional manner, digs himself back in. We have another call of timeout. Not sure what the hold up is here, Craig. Maybe just a confirmation account, I would imagine.
I would probably suggest that it might be a little bit of remonstration going on between Alan and Paul at the minute. Alan being the current Australian catcher. He's been around it for a long, long time, and he knows where his strike zone is, and probably not overly happy with that pitch that was called before, but he sees himself at a 2-2 count with runner at first base. That ball is foul out on the right-hand side.
Nicely taken there. Yours to keep, thanks to SA Power Networks.
Alan's worked really hard over the last 3 or 4 years, and his hitting spells. He's been known as a defensive player for a long, long time, and he's really hit his straps in the last couple of years as a hitter, and he became one of Perth's most dangerous hitters as he hits another double out to the field right now. Runner coming around third base, a little bit of bobble out there. As we see Josh McGee come through and score the 7th run for the Perth Heat. Desan Miguel continues his fantastic form at the plate, getting his 3rd hit for the night. Once again, just a fantastic approach by Desan.
Absolutely knocked it out to centre right, and this is an amazing game that we play, and especially with you have the viewing that we've got as viewers and commentators and spectators. You watch and see some scrambling out at the fence, and the runner just wheeling around the bases, and he ended up just scoring easily on a play that you wouldn't have expected him to score on. Only takes a little boggle or two, but hats off to the runner as well that put the foot down and did not stop, and gave Steve Fish the opportunity to wheel him home. And there's another attempted shot from Anderson. Done really well tonight, Dave Anderson, playing right field and doing a terrific job defensively, and following it up with a couple of knocks, a couple of doubles as well. Beautiful thing, the double in baseball, to waltz your way into second base. Hit it long enough that it's evaded the outfielders, and when you get the legs rolling and lovely figure four slide into second base. How many times have you done that in your life?
What, slide into second base?
Well, hit a double and slid into second base.
Oh, look, you know, it is a good, it's a good feeling hitting the ball hard and knowing that you're going to be putting yourself in scoring position. As we see Fiji kind of just lose control on a curveball. Manager Tony Harris coming out to the mound to make the change. He's hobbling out there, feathers, and he's called for the right-hander out of the pen. You know, we're gonna see one of the Adelaide Bite new imports come in at the moment in Aaron Probanik, and he's going to show Adelaide what he's got to offer for the rest of the season. But mate, getting back to your question, you know, from a hitting point of view, it's great when you do know that you kind of get onto one, or you hit a double, or you do something that you're going to give yourself an opportunity to score, or you do get that RBI or whatever you do. And these Perth Heat guys, they thrive on it. They thrive on their hitting. They've been so. I'd love to see what the stats would be, and we're not privy to the stats over the many years, but even going back to the old ABL with the Clayton Burns and the Greg Jelkses and all this of the Perth Heat, they've just been such a dominant force from a hitting point of view, and it's fed on. It's fed on because all these guys were watching that back when they were younger, and they've had those same players help them. As coaches, you see Greg Jelks as the hitting coach for Perth Heat, and so they teach them, and it's like winning, mate. It's contagious.
You betcha. And we'll have a short break while Adam does his routine warm-up. So grab yourself a nice refreshment and look forward to the latter stages of Game 2 here at Cooper Stadium. We'll be back in a moment. So welcome back, everyone. Aaron Probanik. Could be some various pronunciations. Starts it up with a fastball and then throws a fastball outside, a big, tall, angular right-hander. So 1-1 the count on Elliot Hargraves. As he drives the ball along the third baseline, but called foul.
Foul ball, 1 ball, 2 strikes, the count. Elliot Hargraves the batter.
Aaron Probanik. So 1 ball, 2 strikes. Runners on first and second for the Heat. He swings and a miss at a high fastball. And that is strike 3 and the end of the Heat in the top of the 6th here. They pile on 3 more runs, give themselves a 6-1 buffer. We'll have a short break and we'll be back in a moment.
Zachary, who replaces Anthony Claggett on the mound.
Zachary.
New pitcher, Matt Zachary.
Welcome back to Cooper Stadium. We see a pitching change for the Perth Heat here in the 7th. Matt Zachary coming in. He'll be facing Matthew Smith.
Bottom of the 6th innings.
Bottom of the 6th, actually. I apologise.
Matthew Smith.
Matthews had the night. He's got a strikeout and a walk. Looking himself to get himself a base hit for the evening. Zachary starts off Smith with a fastball for a strike. Another fastball for a strike. Ball on the outside part of the plate. Just run the line for Anthony Claggett. We got 5 innings pitched, 3 hits, 4 walks, 4 strikeouts and 1 earned run. Pretty standard, or good night for his first ABL appearance, and the Perth Heat would be pretty happy with that. Curveball into the dirt brings the count to 2-2. That ball sees us high, so as Matthew Smith goes to a full count. Matthew Smith should have asked us for the count there and thought he had ball 3, but it was actually ball 4 and takes the walk, which puts the lead-off runner at first base for the Adelaide Bite. Now coming up to bat is Angus Roger. Angus provides the club with some fantastic power. And the other thing that he supplies the Bite is the unknown. He's not very well known in the Australian baseball level. He hasn't played a lot of games. There's a lot of guys out there that they wouldn't have too many statistics on him, so they don't know where to pitch him. So I would expect Angus to have a pretty good season this year with that in mind, as he takes ball 1 inside.
Matt Zachary, a big right-hand thrower. Got a nice bit of shape about him as he blasts one by Roger. Like all strong hitters, likes to hit the fastball, Angus. They call a balk on Zachary. I would suggest just a little bit on that he didn't stop. With the runner on and working from the set position, a pitcher must come to a set and hold before delivering his pitch, and anything outside of that is deemed a bit of deceit and is called a balk by the umpire, and that's what happened and allowed Smith to get to second base. So Zachary throws a hard, high fastball that Roger swings straight through to strike him out.
Number 30, catcher Chris Adamson.
It's a really solid effort by Claggett. You wouldn't say that it was anything bewildering, but he was throwing the ball super hard, but he just worked into his job. Got stronger and stronger. Did a great job. There's Chris Adamson, I'm sorry. Hits a ground ball to shortstop, which advances Matt Smith to third base. Although you hit a ground ball and are thrown out, if you advance your runner, it puts some positive spin on your at-bat. Zachary throws a nice, what looked like a slider for a strike to Ben Lodge. Oh, and again under the lights of Norwood, it looked like a little bit of cross up there.
Yeah, we had a fastball on the outside part of the plate that Clark just couldn't hold on to. That happens sometimes, especially late in the game. Runner at third base, 2 out. Benny Lodge up to the plate. Swing and a miss up high. This is where Adelaide's going to struggle for the next couple of weeks. Is just this last 3 hitters. You know, they're good hitters in their own right, but they're all very, very brand new to this level and to this league. As we get the strike 3 called on Benny Lodge with runners at third base. So now if we go back and have a look, Adelaide have had some chances to score some runs over the last 3 or 4 innings, you know, leaving loaded bases and a couple of runners at second and third over the previous innings. We go into the 7th inning with the Adelaide bite trailing the Perth Heat 7-1.
And we'll have a short break. We'll be back in a moment.
Smith one there.
So welcome back to the beautiful Cooper Stadium here, top of the 7th inning. We get to money time now, 7th, 8th and 9th, where it always is the make and break time of a baseball game. Perth Heat stretched it in the 6th, grabbed another 4 to go to a 7-1 lead. As Probanik fires one up and in, which goes to the backstop for ball 1.
Looks like a bit of a hard throwing guy, Probanik. obviously going to have control problems when you throw as hard as what he does. A big, tall, right-handed pitcher. Misses up high again. He just needs to find his rhythm. Got an extremely live arm, Spello. I haven't seen something like that out at Norwood Oval for a long, long time. He'd be busting the 94, 93 mile an hour mark, but he needs to find his zone. There's no doubt.
Well, Craig Watts was not only a magnificent baseballer and now a very successful businessman, but he can predict speed from 90 feet. Even Spider-Man would have struggled with those sorts of calls, but yes, he is. He's a big lad, got those long levers, and he's certainly drawing on it at the moment and giving everything he's got. Accuracy is also the name of this game, and he's just struggling to find the radar at the moment. There's catcher Adamson.
Chris goes out and sees for batting just then, and that's a really good move by Chris, just to control it a little bit. Get out there and speak to his pitcher and say, hey, you know what, we've got to cool it down a little bit. Make sure you hit that zone. He is throwing the ball relatively hard though, but he just needs to take a little bit off it to find his pitch. Throws his 6th ball in a row. Count 0-2 to Corey Adamson. Another ball on the outside part of the plate, 3-0. No activity in the Adelaide Bite bullpen right now. Wouldn't be surprised if we see a couple of guys get up there in the next couple of hitters. As Corey Adamson draws his first walk for the night. And as I predicted, there's a bit of movement in the Adelaide Bite bullpen as Wally Marks walks out to the mound to have a chat with his pitcher and his catcher. I'll give you an update in a second once the pitcher takes off his jacket down there in the Adelaide Bite bullpen, and it looks like Adam Crabb, the Southern District starter, making his possibly going to make his second appearance in 2 nights. Spello coming out and warming up in the Adelaide Bite bullpen. Wally Marks, one of Australia's best pitching coaches, out on the mound right now, talking to Probetic and to Chris Adamson. Just talking about control, talking about momentum, trying to give some words of wisdom to these guys.
Yes, there's no question that the bottom line for a late reliever is to come in and throw strikes. And Aaron is just struggling with that at the moment. But the beauty of this game, one pitch delivered correctly and get a ground ball, roll a double play, and all is forgotten, and onward you can forge. So Aaron looking to knuckle down, and he finds the plate for strike 1.
Isn't that amazing when the pitching coach goes out there and calms them down? 9 times out of 10 the pitcher will throw a strike. You know, sitting on the bench last year, and as a coach, we would often laugh and say, you know, hey, what did you say? What did you say right then? You know, go up there and throw a strike. But, you know, he throws 2 strikes in a row to Melker. Melker hits a line drive down the left field line for foul. But it's amazing just that little change of what a coach can say or do, or change the momentum spell. Makes a massive difference, you know.
Yeah, you did right. We've seen some great pitches here over the journey, and no matter how good you are, you can be making little mistakes, just a little overstriding or your release point a little bit behind the ear and not out in front enough, or whatever it may be. And that ball is clubbed again by Melker to left field. Ben Lodge makes the play, and in his endeavour to get it to his cut-off, the third base, Smith just short hopped him, and it punched its way through to Adamson, but no harm. So the bases are bulging here for the Heat in the top of the seventh, and they continue to press with none out. And this, the beauty of this team has been the ability to take advantage of situations thus far. And I would suggest with a hitter of Hughes's quality that we'll see it again. We've got all the options open to him here with the field playing back. He can hit a ground ball and score a run. He can hit a long fly ball and score a run. He can obviously, if he hits a base hit, even better. If he pops it out, he's got the grand salami. And mate, that was something I was never privy to, but I'm sure again you've knocked a few grand salamis in your career, Craig.
Yeah, lucky to hit one or two. In fact, I was lucky enough to hit two in one game against Perth Heat back in 1997, ironically, out here at Norwood Oval, and that was probably the highlight of my individual career in back-to-back at-bats. Having those 8 RBIs and a couple of bombs certainly was a highlight. Luke Hughes would be thinking something along those lines right now. He's a solid hitter, but he'd be looking at making contact, trying to get a base hit, drive something to the outfield. Now, he wouldn't want anything else but a base hit right now, I wouldn't think.
But Aaron's still having some radar issues, and that is an identical pitch which has sailed over the top of Luke Hughes' head. 2 in a row. And
we've got a bit of Nuke LaLoosh happening here, a bit of Nuke LaLoosh throwing 2 pitches above Luke Hughes' head. Luke wouldn't be overly happy with that at the moment, I wouldn't have thought. But, he's a professional guy, and you know what? It just got him off his toes a little bit. He took the fastball down the middle of the plate there, thinking, where's this pitch going to go? So whether it was intentional or not, he got him off balance.
It worked. It's working, perhaps. Because it's true, sometimes when a guy's all over the shot, they're a harder guy to hit than as he locates again and finds the outside part of the plate that Luke got a little nibble of the bat on and just fouled it just over to the Adelaide bite bench. Because, you can't tell me you were digging in with a guy that is coming up and in and throwing balls at 92 across the top of your head. You'd be a little bit unsure, but he is a pro, Hughes, and that has hit him. So
Tony Harris will be looking to make a change right now. There's no doubt he can't leave Probetic out there for too much longer. It's not good for him. It's not good for his mindset coming into the first game that he's come out here. He's having control issues. There's no doubt about that. And we've just seen the Perth Heat bring in their 8th run on a hit by pitch ball. We've got none out, bases loaded, and the number 4 hitter coming up. I think he's going to let him face this guy, and we'll see what happens afterwards.
And like all good pitchers, he didn't like the cherry, so he piffs it to the catcher and says, hey, change it. I don't like it. That's the issue. Yeah. We'll see. So Hughes on by a hit by pitch ball. And Carter Belt, who's been more than handy with his that sensational triple and controversial triple at his last at-bat where Melendrez pounded through a panel. So Privenik really needed to dig deep here and use all his mechanics, all of his skills, everything that he's been taught. Threw a nice slider there to get Carter swinging. So 0-2. Good position for Aaron to be in. Not a position he's been in a lot tonight in his brief little spell thus far. And we'll see what the man is made of right here. Is he going to muck around with this hitter, or is he going to go straight at him? Geez, he certainly put a bit on that one too. That was probably up to what you were talking about, 93, 94.
No doubt. I mean, you watch a lot of games of baseball, you watch a lot of pitchers pitch, and you can tell how hard these guys are throwing. And I've got to say that Probetic's probably one of the harder guys thrown that I've seen for a long, long time. The ball's coming out absolutely firing as it's a high fly ball to left field. Then he lodges over it, fires it into third base. But what a great at-bat, he struggled early, got to 0-2, and got a pitch up in the zone and just drove it out to left field, did his job. He could have been trying to do the individual thing, but he drove the ball out in the outfield and got himself a nice little RBI sac fly. So well done to Carter Bell.
Absolutely, and that's why this team, dressed in a red uniform, called the Perth Heat, are back-to-back champions looking for a three-peat, because they do everything that is baseball. So they continue to consolidate and they continue to accumulate. As Josh McGee thinks, I'm not hanging around, pal. I'm getting my licks in. And although he swung through that one, he loosened up those shoulders as Aaron comes inside and bounces one that Adamson just couldn't control. So there's the fine line now between a manager, as Pribenic had a little bit of a look over to the bullpen, sensing something and nearly pleading with his manager to get him out of here because it ain't working for him tonight.
Another ball low and inside to Josh McGee. Brings the count to 2-1. Foul ball.
Foul ball from the car park, and that ball is yours to keep if you're quick enough to get out there and find it, thanks to SA Power Networks.
Count 2-2 to Josh McGee. Wonder if he's any relation to Willie McGee. I always wanted to say that. Willie McGee.
And I tell you what, for any... and that ball's banged up the middle. Josh Catebread just needed to get the handle on it, and he got the handle on it and got it to first base in an exceptional play up the middle. Another run scored for the Heat, and another really good piece of hitting by Josh McGee. Just banged it up the middle, hit it hard, ground ball, second base side of the actual second base. Catebread dived to his backhand, took it, and off his knees threw McGee out. But McGee also picks himself up an RBI. I was going to mention the magnificent Kevin McGee that played on the halfback flank for Richmond in the 70s. Had tats. Was one of the most fearsome players. Kevin McGee.
Kevin McGee.
He played for Richmond. In actual fact, I think I'm calling him Kevin McGee, and I'm not sure whether it is Kevin, but there was definitely a McGee halfback flanker for the mighty Richmond Tigers in their most amazing times. Someone might be able to help us out there. Left footer, gangly, tattoos, looked like a real mean unit, and he was a mean unit. So up comes Alan D. San Miguel. What's he tonight? Just a lazy 3 for 4 with a bomb and a couple of doubles. Wow, what a night! And he's in your dream team, is he?
He's in my dream team. So you know, we're hoping for him to get out right now in regards to an Adelaide bite situation, but he's just solid at the moment. As he takes ball 4, Tony Harris, as I suspected, is walking out of the mound now, ready to make a change, and we'll see Mr. Crabb from Southern Districts Baseball Club come out and make his second appearance in the two nights. Great story, Adam. You know, he's been a pitcher for Southern Districts for many years, and pitched in the original Major League for Israel.
Yeah,
that 1 year.
Amazing story. I mean, people, this is where baseball reaches and takes you. I mean, yeah, Adam got an opportunity to play and to play in Israel, and you shrug your shoulders and you think, you're kidding me, aren't you? I mean, Israel. But yes, sir, this is an international game, and he had an experience of a lifetime.
They actually, the league itself wasn't too bad. I think it was the dangers that are going on, which we won't get onto at the moment, but the league was fantastic, and had some really good players go over there and play in it. There was some excellent money being thrown around, some great players go over from the US and Australia, and Adam put himself up into the draft and got drafted, and went over there and played in the first year, and made himself a bit of a name in Australian baseball. So he hasn't been a part of the Adelaide Bite for the last couple of years. He's been living in America, got married to an American girl. So he's come out now and he's pitching himself into the second game in 2 nights. So he did pretty well last night. His line was pretty good. He came into the last inning and didn't give up any runs. Gave up a hit by pitch ball. So he's hoping to get the Adelaide Bite out a bit of strife right now. They see themselves with runners at first and second. Oh, I apologise. I've just had someone advise me that Adam Crabb now plays for Port Adelaide and has played for Port Adelaide for the last couple of years. So I apologise to the Crabb family and to Adam. You couldn't get two further teams apart, the old Port Adelaide and Southern Districts, but
seems to be the path of some Southern District pitchers that Big Dushan Ruzik also started coming down from the territory at Southern Districts and hoiked himself over to Port, and now he's at Kensington. And just to sort of, while we're on Dush, I think Davo told me the other day that out of the last 10 flags in the Adelaide League, he's been a part of 8 of them for success. Now, I'm not sure whether that's true, false, or a damn good story, but as Anderson helps himself to another hit.
And an RBI.
Another RBI single for, and it actually might be a pinch hitter actually. Number 3.
Del Carter.
Carter's playing, so we have a wrong thing. Anyway. The bottom line is it's a hit and another run scored for the Perth Heat, and this mighty team just keeps on doing it, and they're 11-1 right at this moment. So Crabb doing a little bit what he was doing. He's a funky pitcher, got that probably lower than a 3/4 arm. He's a very long-limbed guy, and he really flings them on down there, but they've got a tendency to do a bit. And when you've got a funky action, you got to get it right. Otherwise, it's a little bit of a mess. So Adam looking to find that radar, and there's a base hit into right field. And they wheel him around again, and why wouldn't you, for another run scored as De San Miguel crosses the plate. As Watsy with his SA cap on has a little swill of beer in misery for the bite, but has a little silent giggle because his dream team is kicking some serious at the moment. Get in on that. Just have a look at the Adelaide Bite website and it'll lead you to it. Another magnificent idea and a lot of work done by Mike Murray, as it is just a hit fest here at the moment. And there's another single to right field by Elliot Hargraves.
We go back to the top of the lineup for the third hit now. Original leadoff man, number 1, second fielder, Corey Adamson.
For another RBI single, and it's just the floodgates have well and truly opened.
Yeah, this is really disappointing for Adelaide right now. You know, they held a good game going into the 5th inning. You know, they were down 3-1, and it's been really disappointing to see this kind of result coming through. I think we're going to see, we've still got a couple more innings to go, and it's going to be interesting to see what manager Tony Harris does in regards to pitching. We'll probably see a couple of changes, see a couple of young kids come in and get an opportunity that they wouldn't normally get. Pitch in front of a big crowd here at Norwood Oval at a national level. But whilst we see it right now, we've got runners at first and third with Corey Adamson up to the plate. The ball's on the outside for ball 2. Count sees us at 2-2 to Corey Adamson. Pen's packed up.
And look, as Adam Crabb strikes Kevin Clark out, and the score is 13-1. We will have a short break. The bite will come in at the bottom of the 7th, trying to put a big curly number on the board to keep this game alive. We'll see you in a moment. So welcome back everyone here. We've just had our 7th inning stretch We're into the bottom of the 7th inning here, and the Bite really trying to play for pride now. It's a matter of them digging deep, showing what they're made of. As we know, we can get to stages in a game like this, it can happen pretty quick. Jeremy Creswell, Dennis Christensen has a swing and a miss at that one. And he goes down in 3 straight pitches. As Matt Zachary loads it up and is powering on. So Nathan van der Linden gets his ABL debut at bat here for the Bite. He's taking Creswell's spot. Will play shortstop. Gets a pitch inside that he has a swing off and fouls to the back net. He gets a high pitch that he's not showing any nerves about. He has another good woof at that one and again fouls it to the backstop. This young man has represented Australia at junior level and plays for the West Torrens Baseball Club here. Been nurtured and developed by one of the most magnificent coaches in Adelaide here, in Brett Ettridge. As he grounds out to shortstop for a 6-3. Hope you like that little rap, Edo. So that's over and done with for Nathan van der Linden as he takes his first at-bat at ABL level.
Yeah, great opportunity for these young guys to get in and take some at-bats and have a few swings and just feel what it's all about. You know, he almost had an opportunity last night to come into the game and was a bit unlucky, so he's had his first at-bat and it'll be his first of many, I would suggest, over his career for the Adelaide Bite. And he's going to get a couple of innings in the field as well, which is going to be great. So, as we see, Josh Cakebread here go to a 2-0 count with 1 out. Well, I think it's 2 out actually. A ball up high. Adelaide need to consolidate a little bit, get some at-bats in and get a couple of base hits just to go into tomorrow night's game with a little bit of confidence. Right now their confidence is way down. They're not scoring runs, they're not holding them. They need to start just getting people on base and then scoring them as well. So another ball hit sharply out to left field. Gee, Josh has hit the ball well in the last 2 nights, but everything's been out to left field. He's taking a really good approach, but just not getting his base hit. So that sees the Adelaide Bite all out in the 7th, and we'll be coming back to you for the last 2 innings after this short break.
So welcome back, everyone. Top of the 8th inning here. We're just amusing ourselves with looking at some very amusing graphics. Where can they find these?
There's a new website or a new Facebook page called Adelaide or South Australian Baseball Memes, which for those that don't know what a meme is, it's a comment onto a photo. And someone in their wisdom has decided to start up this Facebook page and putting some pretty funny comments on there, to be totally honest, Spills. So if you have a chance to get onto Facebook and have a look at that, have a bit of a laugh, don't take it too seriously, don't take it personally, because there's some funny ones there that you may or may not find amusing, Spills. But at the end of the day, this game's about fun, and there's some fun comments to be made. So we see ourselves in the 8th with Adam Crabb from Port Adelaide, playing for the Adelaide Bite, pitching.
Jeremy Crystal has left the ball game. He is pitching for Nathan Van Linden, playing shortstop for the Bite. Here comes an SA Power Networks power ball.
So Adam Melker up to bat right now. Sees himself with a 3-2 count. Had a pretty good night. 3 hits. Walk and a K2. And a hard hit ball out to left centre field. We'll see him rounding first base, coming into second base. He'll be looking to stand up there at second, and he leads off the Perth Heat 8th with a double.
Comes out of the ball game. He is replaced by Tom McGarry. Tom McGarry has moved over to third base. Matt Smith in centre field.
And the Bite coach has pulled all the names in the hat and chucked it in the air, and we got some changes out there, which is just fantastic. Got some young fellas playing. Tom McGarry's come in for Matt Smith at third base, and Van der Linden, as we know, had the at-bat, has gone into shortstop to replace Creswell, and I think that's about the status quo at the moment.
Yeah, it is, mate. I think that Tony can only do that with what he's got available. He's just going to put some young guys in to give them some experience, and that's what coaches do when they get into this situation. It's not ideal. They don't want to get into this situation, but it's what they do. And we've got a guy warming up over in the Adelaide Bite bullpen by the name of Nick Hutchins, a friend of mine's son, and he's only 16 years old, and he's made his first roster this weekend, and he's going to get an opportunity to pitch. There's no doubt in this game here. So looking forward to seeing young Nick pitch. One of the rules and regulations of the Australian Baseball League, that if you're the home team, you can actually have a roster of 23 at home, which allows you to bring on two junior development players, and Nick seems to be one of those, and McGarry is the other. So when you do get into these situations, which you don't want to get into often, as I said before, it does give you an opportunity to bring these guys in, give them a taste at 16, 17 years old, which is fantastic for the sport, fantastic for them. And hopefully they do all right, and they get a bit of those nerves out of their system.
I could assure you, when you're having your at-bat, that you wouldn't really know the score or care about the score. An at-bat's an at-bat. Doesn't matter where, doesn't matter when. It's you versus the pitcher. And really, that's all that matters. So tremendous experience, and young Tom had a hit last night and crunched one out to right field, and that would have done his confidence huge amounts. Nathan had a reasonable at bat, so at the moment, all good for the young fellas. And to see Nick, who played in the under-16 Australian Championships last year, Christmas. There's another base hit. They're just rolling them out at the moment. They're just falling over themselves to get to the bats. The old Perth Heat.
That was a bitch.
Yeah, look, I'm sorry. We've got a guide here, and we've got about 8 number 3s and 4 number 6s, and so if we say a name and it's not correct, please bear with us. We're doing the best we possibly can with believing that is Stephen Bunbury, who knocked one out to right field. So Josh McGee, he can't be taken out of the game. Oh, you're not serious? He must have a hit. Looks like he's had a hit. Oh, one I didn't score in the middle there, so it might be. But yeah, he's had a mixed night, so maybe that's right. The fish is giving him an opportunity to get on the board. So the K2 to 3, a 6 to 3, a 1 to 2, a 4 to 3, and one at bat when I was obviously having a nap, so I didn't write it down. So apologies. Sam Kennelly's on deck. And the McKee can't do it. There's a nice little 6 to 4 to 3 that Van der Linden commences a double play. So good stuff from the young Adelaide Bide infield to keep things rolling, give Krabby a bit of relief. So that's really good stuff, and the boys are high fives all round, and that's what I'm saying and talking about spirit. It doesn't matter when, doesn't matter where, you can get something out of this game for tomorrow night in the future, and that was really good stuff. So we'll have a quick break. We'll be back real soon.
Leading off for your Adelaide White, number 19.
So welcome back everyone, bottom of the 8th inning, Perth Heat doing as they like. Matt Zachary's finished his couple of innings of relief and chucked it to Liam Barron, the lefty, and out he comes. So Tom McGarry, and he cracks one up the middle, and it's a dying quail, but it cannot land. We'll do. See ya. We say goodbye to Adrian Burnside.
Matt Dixon, the second baseman for Perth Heat, takes the catch there.
So McGarry, unfortunately, got one off the handle and knocked it up the middle, but it couldn't find some terra firma.
Number 29.
But all promising signs for the youngster. As Howard rolls over on one and is put out at first base. So I said before that that McGarry came in for Smith, but Smith must have been jiggled around in the field somewhere because he went out to centre field. Thank you, Craig. Then Nathan Melendrez, who probably got a nice little bruised back after cannoning back through the fence earlier in the game. He's just having a nice rest and just having an ice bath as we talk, and perhaps a little soda squash just to relax after the game because it's been a bit of a toughie. So the free swinging Matt Smith. I know one thing for sure, wouldn't matter whether it was the first dig or 27th, he will still be swinging hard as that pitch is outside. So Liam Barron, who I believe is a distant relative of comedian Carl Barron.
Well, he is Western Australian. Carl Barron is Western Australian.
Well, probably the only thing that I had going for me with a comment like that, but he walked Smith.
I don't know if he'd be overly happy about that or laughing about that walk there, but...
oh, you got to love Carl Barron.
Oh, arguably one of my favourite comedians. For those people in America right now that don't know Carl Barron, do yourself a favour and get online and Google Carl Barron. He's a funny, funny man.
Yeah, he reminds me of one of my mates, Mick Higgy. Sorry about the private jokes. Nothing bugs you more when you're sitting at home and got no idea who we're talking about. So we'll get back to baseball because Angus Aroga gets a pitch up. Yeah, maybe perhaps you could get on this wonderful system we call a computer and Google Mick Higgy and tell us what on earth you might find out. Oh, is Roger big swing and a miss. Much from Tom in Western Australia, just telling that the Bunbury isn't even in the country yet I've got him having at bats. I don't know whether he's happy. How'd he go? How did the Bumbers go with his bat when he's not even... He got a hit. So he's already 1 for 1. Well, how happy would Bumbles be with us right at this moment?
Stephen Bunbury, number 6.
Yeah, well, I told you we're working with incompetent people and we can't even get our lineups right. But anyway, Ben Lodge pops one up.
Yours to keep thanks to SA Power Networks.
Another game here tomorrow, folks. I'll just confirm the time. 7:15 is the call. We've had a couple of 7 o'clockers, but we're going to 7:15 on Saturday night. Haven't they? Okay. We hope you're enjoying the coverage here. Certainly from a bite perspective, we're all a little bit down in the doldrums at the moment. Ben Lodge absolutely hammers that ball foul along the right field line. It nearly knocks down the school fence.
SA Power Networks.
A little bit of exciting times just happening there with Chris Adamson hitting a swinging bunt over to the third baseman, him throwing it wild, first baseman recovering well and throwing over to second base to get him out. The Adelaide Bite do score a run on that play. So the Adelaide Bite are trailing 13-2 going into the top of the ninth inning. Unfortunately, the score seems inevitable, the result. But what we do see now is we see a pitching change for the Adelaide Bite with young Nick Hutchings making his ABL debut at the age of 16, which is fantastic. Hard-throwing right-hander from Southern Districts. I know I've got that one right. Definitely a prospect to sign professionally in the next 12 months. And looking forward to seeing young Nick pitch. We'll take a break right here and we'll see you back, or you'll hear us back in the next few to see out the last inning of the game. Welcome back to Cooper Stadium. Now going into the ninth inning with the Adelaide Bite trailing 13-2. We have Nick Hutchings pitching for the Adelaide Bite, facing another debut, Sam Kennelly, which we'll talk about in 2 seconds. First pitch for Nick, ball outside. Sam Kennelly, brother of Tim, brother of Matt, brother of Josh. The four Kennelly brothers, arguably Western Australia's top sporting brothers at the minute, and it's a great result for Australian baseball when you see four brothers, Spurlo, sign professional contracts and all be playing at the same time. It's an amazing opportunity, amazing feat for the family, and they must be just very proud of the Kennellys. A little bit of a personal area there where they all play for my old club in Perth, Melville Braves. So
Go the Braves.
Happy that the Braves have been able to put out a couple of, or four fantastic players. But Nick Hutchings wins the battle. His first ABL appearance, and he gets a strikeout of Sam Kennelly. So fantastic effort there by Nick. So 1 out in the ninth. David Emerson up to bat. Had a pretty good night, Spurlow. 3 hits with a hit by a pitch ball and a wild throw, so he's been on base all 5 times. A nice piece of hitting there too, where he's just fouled one off to the right side. Sees the count 0-1. Another good pitch by Nick, just keeping him off balance a little bit, off-speed pitch for strike 2.
So Hutchings delivers another breaking ball. Perfectly positioned, ahead of the count. Anywhere bar the centre of the plate. So he managed to waste one down low, and it was a good enough pitch to just have Anderson thinking, and he strikes him out. So where's this guy been hiding? Only a youngster. Once again, opportunity's a great thing. So Tony gets the opportunity to roll a few guys out, and you never know what you find. As Craig said, this boy's a prospect, throwing in the mid to high 80s probably at the moment, which for a young 16, 17-year-old is genuine. Perfectly built for a pitcher. Again, long and angular. So Elliot Hargraves, the DH, got a hit at his last at-bat. So he's 1 for 5. And that pitch is up from Hutchings. Little bit of the polka here, just to get the 2,000 or 3,000 people just absolutely just bouncing off their seats.
Look out over there! Oh, heads up. SA Power Networks, foul ball.
Always a good night here at Cooper Stadium. Boys do a great job. Plenty of entertainment for kids. It's just a really friendly sort of place to, there's activities, and the staff just do a fantastic job in catering for everyone. A few beers flow, and on-field announcers always lively, do a great job. And that's a broken bat shot to first base for a little PFP. Well, 3-1. Everyone claps, everyone's happy. So we'll go to the bottom of the ninth. We'll all say a Hail Marys, and we'll be back in a moment. Well done, Nico. So welcome back once again, maybe for the last time tonight, and we can all settle in and relax. But the absolutely multi-talented Tim Kennelly, after DHing last night and getting a couple of knocks, climbs the hill to finish things off at the Perth Heat. And what a story this is, you know, a guy, a position player, a little bit short, and obviously an injury or two, and hey, can you throw, and I'll have a crack and we'll see how we go, and piff it at 94, 95.
Yeah, what a great story. I mean, Tim Kennelly came out last year playing for the Perth Heat, and he's been one of the Australian baseball's best hitters, without a doubt, in the last couple of years, in the outfielders for the last 5 or 6 years. Goes over and plays in AA, and as you said, Spurlow, they had a bit of a blowout, and the manager for his Philadelphia team said, hey, how about you get up there and throw a couple for us. He proceeded to throw an inning, hitting 96, 97 consistently, and striking out a couple of guys in that inning. They thought, hang on a minute, we got something here. And then so they tried him again, and he did the same thing. So they sent him down to the lower levels of minor league to work on that craft. And the Philadelphia Phillies have now got themselves a potential closer moving forward, throwing at 97, 98 mile an hour in Tim Kennelly. You know, he's going to have troubles finding his zone early in his career when he starts pitching. But when you've got that lively arm and that ability as a baseballer, you know, it's going to come pretty good for you. It's a bit of a loss, though. It's a bit of a loss for the Perth Heat, because moving forward, they're not going to have him too much hitting. And, you know, when they start playing against some better teams, they're going to need Tim's bat in the lineup. You know, he's going to be, you know, sitting over in the bullpen, sitting there going, you know, I could pick up a couple of hits here. So it's certainly going to be a bit of a loss for them. But he's a professional sportsman, and that's the decision that his club's made. And, you know, if you're playing professional baseball and your major league club or the head office says that you need to go out in there and pitch, that's what you've got to do. So he's made that decision, and he's going to revel in it, I'm sure, throwing it as hard as he is. Thrown a couple of wild ones. He's walked his first hitter tonight, and now he's facing Dennis Christensen, 1-1. That ball is inside, very, very hard. I haven't seen a guy throw this hard in the ABL for a long, long time. He just rear backs and throws it. Count 2-2, Dennis. Here's a little bit of a trivia for you. The Kennelly's father.
Ron?
No, not Ron Kennelly. The Kennelly's father was a pro golfer in Western Australia. That was a bit of an in-joke by Andrew Sperling. Ron Kennelly here in Adelaide is actually one of South Australia's oldest umpires. So no, he's not their father. But funny, to say the least. He's just struck out Dennis Christensen with a 190-mile-an-hour fastball.
Wow. So young Nathan van der Linden comes to the plate to face the flamethrower. Nathan's got a younger brother, Nico, who is also an amazingly talented young baseballer. Lovely family, great parents, just again fully dedicated to baseball in this state. It's just wonderful to see. A couple of ripper lads as well. As he has a good swing at that. So not over intimidated by the heavy throwing Kennelly right at the moment. So runner on second for the bite, Kennelly to Van der Linden. He swings through it and strike three. Just threw him some cheese and blew him away.
Number 6, the second baseman, Josh Capron.
So the Heat are 1 out away from making it a 2-0 lead in this 3-game series to start off the ABL season for these two teams. Always a great season if it emulates anything like last year, where basically I think Canberra are the only team with a week to go that couldn't make it. It'll be a great series, and Carter Bell charges that ground ball from Cakebread, and you know, there it is. I mean, Cakebread's hit the ball on the nose 4 times tonight and been out every time, and hits a nuffy little ground ball to shortstop and reaches on an error.
Number 19, Tom.
She's a funny old game, but really good just to sort of let Tom McGarry come up, as much as his boots might be shaking a little bit to face this. He definitely wouldn't have seen pitching of this speed before. So Kennelly, not at all fussed with the runners, just not an interest to Perth Heat. They hold a 12-run lead. It's just all about 3 outs. And that's what Kennelly will be firing for here as he pumps a heavy fastball down the pipe. So McGarry in his 2 at-bats has put bat to ball on both occasions. As we scramble a run across the plate on a pass ball, the crowd go wild. Still the team was all up, and still a bit of morale in the camp, which is fantastic. And McGarry square cuts one into the crowd, which could have been dangerous. So Kennelly looking to finish things off here, throws an up and out fastball. So we've got a loaded pack here, runner on second, 2 out. Kennelly from the set, delivers outside. It's a walk to McGarrett. Gives him his first experience on bases at this level.
First baseman, number 29, Justin Howard.
So Justin Howard looking to salvage something out of his evening here. Perhaps this might be more to his liking, a little bit of pep on the ball.
As Justin Howard takes a strike, bring the count to 1-1. 2 out, runners on first and second. A big swing by Howard. Just trying to get his hacks in, get his eye in, hopefully for tomorrow night. Just heard from a very, very proud father, Spurlo, in a very good friend of mine, Steve Hutchins. His son pitched for the first time for the Adelaide Bite tonight and struck out 2. Steve was unfortunate not to be here, which is great, but he's been listening to the broadcast, and he was grateful for you and I to be able to bring that across to him. He's a firefighter for South Australia, fiery, another fiery, and he's very, very happy. That's strike 3 to end the game for the Adelaide Bite as we go down on this Friday evening, 13-3 to the powerful Perth Heat. And I'll pass you over to Andrew Smelling.
We thank you again, folks, for tuning in with us. Always enjoy your company. Thanks for being interactive with us. We got 1 game to go in this series. That's tomorrow at 7:15. We can't wait to see you then. Take care. See ya.